happened last time? Tell him, dog.
I'll tell ya. I'll tell you what happened last time. So we got to this place with the big thing.
Yes.
We then left, where we all discovered that having everybody in the star room just means we don't accomplish anything.
That's true. It does only have one lens, so.
We tried again, and we got a cool little reward, and we came out to the center here, and we realized that we were supposed to have gotten a gear.
Well, I mean, you realize that, but it's not like you could have known ahead of time.
Looking at the...
We could have, because there was a big-ass gear.
There was a large
for it.
gear,
That's
cracked
the
gear in
only
the
thing
forge.
room, pretty much. Aside from the dragon skull that you didn't let me take. So
I mean, have fun carrying it out.
Where's his player agency?
we looked upon this group and we realized that it was Belden of the least value, so we sent him back to brave the wilds alone to go get that gear and bring it back. I think we went to the right room as well, where we did some maze stuff, where Amal was perpetually without a lamp, so she was lost for half.
That was not me. That was Rick.
Yeah, it was me because the program was broken.
Right. So one person was lost for 90% of that time, and it was hilarious. We then are
It wasn't exactly my fault, but all right.
We are then waiting to go into the top door. Eventually,
that door has a bunch of like scratch marks and scorch marks and all sorts of bad looking shit. So I guess you delayed that for the last because you're a bunch of cowards. Obviously,
It was because you told us not to do it because
it
was like 12:30.
You're a bunch of cowards. Well, you could have done it first.
No, because we entered that room at like 12:30.
But you're a bunch of cowards.
oh my gosh.
But no. Yeah, you went around, found an old planetarium. After after having managed to get in here, fighting an ice troll, being chased by a Wendigo the whole time, you found an old planetarium. The planetarium itself had a mostly intact telescope, which you were able... I did have a cracked lens. Luckily, you brought the cracked lens from the fortune room, or the intact lens from the fortune room to replace it. We're able to do the planetarium puzzle, swiveling the light around, or the telescope around to find a certain star, which granted you a very nice tower shield that was left down below because it's heavy as fuck. Relatively, compared to, like, normal shields. By tower shields standards, it's not bad at all. You know, around the planetarium, you found some shit. You've been finding books that have runes, like really nice books that have like arcade runes inscribed on them, but the pages are blank. You found 2 so far. One in the planetarium, one in the shadow room. That room
Shadows and Dust.
Shadows and Dust. That room itself, the shadow room, seemed to be almost a memorial, a dedication of some sort that was dedicated to someone named Lazarus. The shadow maze itself was solved by the use of, you know, walking in golden light, blah blah blah, revealing a pathway. It's the type of thing I like to do, but next time I'm gonna be like, alright, but you gotta do it one at a time, because all you fuckers running through here is just going wild. You also found a thrower's bandolier in the chest, that was alongside a note that something else had been stolen from the chest. An unknown amount of before. You're not really sure.
Wasn't it something like a calling card for like a notorious thief?
It left the calling card for Hold Heckham. Hold Heckham is the is the small dwarven hold that broke away roughly a century ago from Karen Maldor and the other dwarven holds, and is run by a thieves guild. Thieves guild broke away and rebelled and took over the city. So Hold Heckham is also the place that your father was supposed to deliver something to, as his last delivery was going to Hold Heckham. Dwarven hold, run by essentially a thieves guild. So, you know, did discover that. There was also a book on there, another one of those arcane sort of inscribed books with no pages. You sort of did those 2 rooms. You went back to the main mechanism hub. Like I said, you did notice there was a gear missing, as well as in the planetarium there was, alongside a work order for a new crystal lens, there was a work order to repair a cracked gear. You remembered seeing a cracked gear on the forge below. On the anvil where it had not been completely repaired, so like I said, the most expendable of you, Belden, snuck down, saw that, you know, the shield of Truth's Bulwark had been released from the statue, did a rough patch job, didn't get it completely repaired, but enough that it's functional on the gear, and, you know, came back. Etc., etc. And that's sort of where you are. And so you've been through that door, basically the east and west door. The south door leads back to the first part of the library. The north part is the door that goes into the scratched and burnt and damaged room. There is, at the center of this room, a large sort of spinning mechanism of some sort of strange gears and gyros and heroes, obviously, because we love shaved meats, and a large sort of central dome structure where it looks like, well, just from what you've been judging, because there's like scorched paper and stuff, it looks like books can be inserted into it. So what do you want to do, Max?
Sorry, I was grabbing Chinese from the door. I heard all of that though. What's it? I'm kind of, well, we're supposed to be doing this gear. That was our objective, our primary one at least. What's up with this book puzzle though?
We need the thing to look at the books.
Which is why we got the gear.
Well, then let's do the gear.
Alright, the missing gear itself is quite obvious. It looks like the gears are made in sets of 3, and there's one that is, you know, an obvious set of 2 with a missing gear. The ancient teeth covered in dust, as despite the fact that it's been sitting some time, the metals themselves seem to be made of something far stronger than iron or steel that show no sign of degradation, no sign of rust at all, despite the sort of swirling snows and frigid cold. It easily slots into place after having repaired it with a quiet click. You're able to push it back in place. Looks like it fits. There is a, like I said, there is a, like I said, a lever right there. I did put the lever on the map, so, but itself, like I said, there's not like a whirring noise as it whirs to life or anything, but it does seem to slot in.
Do we, did we still, like, have one of those books on us, or did we already, like, put it in?
You've got 2 of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got one from Shadow Room and one from Planetarium.
Well, I guess let's do the Planetarium one first, right?
Let's do it.
Alright. You take the book from the planetarium, a beautifully crafted blue book with sort of wonderfully gilded, like, or the edges of the pages are gilded, and around the actual cover of the book itself there's inlaid gold, and there's a large gold buckle on it, as well as a large sort of reddish purple arcane rune that sort of glows on the front. As you take it and you put it into the actual mechanism itself, it's almost like it's like opening an outdoor grill. It has like a hood that the crystal lens is almost like a hood that you push back, and then you're able to insert the book and pull it back, and you start smoking it low and slow, so it's tender enough to eat, obviously.
Hell yeah, brother.
Alright, it fits in quite snugly. It does seem there is a small, well, not that small, the book itself is pretty sizable. There is a recess that this book fits into, with a faint thunk, and you're able to pull the sort of protective lens back over it, and you move to the actual lever itself, and with a deep breath, you crank it forward as the gears begin to spin. And you can see slowly one gear spins, turning the next one, and there's an entire line of gears as suddenly all around you there are rings that begin to sort of spin up from the floor like a gyroscope, like the machine in 13 Ghosts, as there are rings that are spinning around. Two lines of energy pour forth from or pour into the book itself, and suddenly the arcane rune glows, and it seems to project outward and is magnified in a sense. It's spread. It creates a scene in the room itself sort of falling away. Alright. Let me preload that scene. Alright. You find yourself in a somewhat familiar location. You're back in the planetarium. Except it looks a lot cleaner.
Old-timey.
A lot nicer. Do what?
Old-timey.
Old-timey, yeah.
Yeah, it's got little like lines from the film grain.
Yeah, it's got sepia filter and film grain lines. But the point is, you can see it looks similar and yet different. There's no cobwebs around. There's several sheafs of paper and cast open books on a nearby table, the very same table you saw the work order on, covered in all sorts of quickly jotted down writings. You can see within the planetarium itself there are probably a half dozen people rushing to and fro, many of them sort of looking through this eyepiece itself and rushing to the table to jot things down. They write in the exact same sort of script and number systems that you saw before, the old-timey ones. But sort of calmly, there are two figures standing sort of anxiously next to each other amidst this din of chaos of people rushing around them. One is a dwarf woman, one you recognize as being from the statues that have been around here. The other one, a human man, again, one you recognized. He's in the other statues, the dwarf man collaboration, essentially. He is older. Well, he's actually quite old. He wears a simple sort of blacksmith's apron with several tools tucked into it. White hair, balding, you know. He looked like that, basically. He looked like a guy. He looked like an old guy. the dwarf, younger, to be sure, still, okay. The dwarf is, clad in heavy plate mail. She doesn't really carry any weapons, but the two look at each other, with a familiarity you can just sense between the two of them, as, she says, are you sure, Ozymandias? Gracie, lay down. So tired of you. But she says, are you sure, Ozymandias? And he grimly nods his head as he looks through the eyepiece of the scope. And the grim look says, they're going out. There you go.
Man, he looks dwarf-sized.
He looks dwarf-sized? Or does she look human-sized?
No, she looks dwarf-statured. He looks dwarf-sized.
She just looks morbidly obese.
He's a hobbit.
What the fuck?
What do you mean, what the fuck? She is morbidly obese!
Oh, she's dwarf thick.
That's a different lady.
Yeah, this is the lady from the statues, not the lady that we met.
Not the lady that you met. This lady is long since dead.
Alright, yeah, I was about to say, I think...
She's obese looking, she's just not as obese.
She's not look obese, she just looks thick.
She looks like she's wearing real heavy armor, so... The two sort of exchange worried looks. As you can see, he goes to a nearby book and he sort of begins crossing out. You got several stars on constellations, and he says, they're going out. One by one, they're going out. And she turns to him and she says, does it mean what I think it means? And he nods his head grimly as he says, the hungry dark is back. And that ends that scene.
Yo, I hate when the dark is hungry.
Yeah, it sucks.
Shit.
It's like, yo, just get a fucking sandwich.
He needs a dark sandwich. We don't have any, though.
Has anyone tried that? Has anyone tried leaving a sandwich on their front door at night and seeing if the dark just goes away?
I just leave a cheese pizza out there, and it sort of leaves me alone.
No, that doesn't work on regular dark.
You know, it's weird because you mentioned that. That if you leave like a cheese pizza or a sandwich on your door, it's weird because that means that the dark turns into a homeless person eventually if you feed them enough.
The dark is a raccoon. Alright, but that is that memory. A memory of a past, as the two apparently founders of this library, this area, consult with each other over the fact that the very stars in the sky themselves are disappearing, as they speak of a returning plague called the Hungry Dark. You move on, as the gears whir back to stillness. You're able to retrieve the book. It is not destroyed, but it is it's got some smoldering marks on it, as it looks like it heated up pretty heavily. You could probably, cook an egg on this thing. It's hot. You take
hot.
You take the other book, and you slot it into place. This one, the one that you found in sort of the dark room, it being a book that has like a gray cover, same gilding, same coloring, but it has like a glowing bluish rune on it. As you slot that in, it easily falls into place, and you're able to pull the lever as it begins to spin as well. Oh, that's the wrong one. Go, that's the right one. Go to the right one, you son of a bitch.
I hope we don't have to answer dwarf movie trivia for this puzzle.
Too bad.
We'll be stuck here forever.
Alright, there we go. You find yourself now in a city that is aflame. The nearby buildings burn brightly. You can actually sort of almost smell the smoke and feel the heat coming from the building. Bodies lie everywhere. As you find that you're standing at a much younger looking Ozymandias. You know, I'm not making a new token for him. You'll just have to take my word for it. A much younger looking Ozymandias, still fairly old. He stands side by side with the dwarven woman, and apparently there are a handful of other allies, as well as there is a fawn that is wearing a flowing green robe that is cinched with like a thorny vine. And there is what appears to be some sort of angelic figure that is wielding almost like a lightning bolt in two hands. Collapsed on the ground behind this group, there is a elderly dwarf. His neck is awkwardly twisted and blood pours from his nostrils. He is quite apparently dead on the ground. He wears
fighting obese Palpatine.
Well, not only that, they are fighting the very sorcerer, the very man you saw in the lighthouse. Same guy.
Oh wow.
I didn't know he was.
He was a big guy. But
well, this is probably like at least a week ago, so
yeah.
you might have lost some weight.
You might have lost some weight. You can see the on the person behind you, they have the very same thrower's bandolier that you now have slung over your shoulder, Max.
Wow, you took a dead guy's fucking equipment.
Do we see the shield that?
Yes. It is worn by the dwarven woman.
Badass.
It appears to be. You can only surmise that this happened before the planetarium. As I said, this man Ozymandias looks quite a bit younger, but you can see. Let me go through. We got the fawn. Let me go ahead and give the rough. There you go. She looked like a dad.
Her name is Fawn.
Nice.
Her name is Boudica.
Might not be. Her name could be like Kyle.
Judging by the fact that the bandolier was found in a room that was dedicated to someone named Lazarus, you can only assume that this is Lazarus.
And it could be the dead dwarf.
What is he throwing?
He has what appear. Actually, looking at it, it looks like he has daggers in the belt. They look like throwing daggers, but they are made of like shadow. They almost look like smoke.
He has a katana on his back. Is he a dwarf?
Nope. He's an elf ninja. He's an elf shinobi man.
He's an elf shinobi.
Yeah.
Badass.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he was. There is.
I like how Colin's group of adventurers are. So this is a human man and a dwarf warrior. Also, this is their actual angel, an elf ninja, and a fawn.
And a fawn appears to be druid of someone. All right, this is their.
Was like normal anime as shit.
This is their.
That's a par for
This is their literal angel.
He's been playing 14, so.
Oh, that's true.
This is their literal angel.
Is a sword.
Cassiel, yes. He's got a two-handed sword that appears made of lightning.
Is he like a Deva, or is he like Asimar, or whatever I think they're called in this?
He's definitely a Nephilim of some sort.
Okay.
But yep. He goes along with the group. It's quite clear that Lazarus is unfortunately deceased. He looks like he was an elderly elf, probably having lived centuries. As the fire burns around him, the other four sort of stand in front of him. Looking towards the sorcerer, you can see he's the very same one that was in the lighthouse. Large, clad in a black robe, heavy. And he is bleeding profusely as well, as his body is covered in wounds, gashes. He barely is able to keep his feet as he collapses to the ground. Deep breaths racking through his body as his glowing eyes sort of look up, and he just sort of shakes his head, the fat sort of jiggling as he says, "You can't kill me. The hungry dark will always come back. I'm just a piece of the puzzle, a pawn in the great game." And Ozymandias sort of points towards him as the other people charge, and that's where that scene ends.
Did you describe him as being a large man when we saw him in the lighthouse?
He's just a guy clad in robes, essentially.
Okay.
He's just a robed guy. He's a robed sorcerer guy.
Collins fleshes out a little more since you know.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I remember him describing that way, but I just
no, he in the lighthouse, he's just a robed sorcerer, essentially.
Okay.
But that's where that one ends. As the fire sort of dies away, and the sights and the screams of people die away.
Colin, is that a hammer in the center of the room really there?
That's not a hammer, that's a lever.
I saw a handle with two ends on it. I was like, oh shit, is that's the lady's hammer just like sitting there? I was like,
hammer is my penis.
The hammer, yeah. But that's just the lever you're using to activate the books. But like I said, that appears to have been a past battle that this party, this adventuring group, was part of. It seems like one of them passed, clad in the very same Thor's bandolier. The final thing you see as they charge forward is that the body of this old elven man, Lazarus, is slowly, almost seeming to turn to glittering dust, leaving what appears to be two little motes, almost like crystals behind, on the ground behind him as they charge forward, and you pulled back to the mechanism hub.
Would it be common knowledge to know if that happens when all elves die?
You roll a society check.
Okay.
Is that the same gemish thing that they have from the lighthouse?
You can roll an arcana or a crafting check for that.
Oh, wrong thing. Colin, could I? Could I roll my? Oh, no, never mind. I'll just roll the society.
Colin, can I roll
Is this a blind GM?
Yeah, I mean it's recalled knowledge, so.
Colin, can I roll a religion check to see if I've ever heard anything about that battle for my order?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Kip. You look at as you see that image fading away. It leaving two of these sort of gems behind. The gem that they have, the crystal they have, is similar but not the exact same. It looks like it has a slightly different color. The one that they have is almost like a dark gray blue, like the angry sea, the color of an angry sea. The ones that he left behind were sort of a dull purple and a muddy gray.
Okay.
But it is indeed of a similar type. Very similar. Probably
maybe it's related to how the elves keep the dark away.
Maybe to of the
killing themselves.
A similar type of crystal, but not an exact copy or exact the same. Galen, you know that elves, when they die, they die. They don't dissolve into crystals.
Okay, so this is a weird thing.
This is a weird thing.
Okay.
And Booley, you go back to your the founding of your religious order, and there is once again an old legend. Once again, it's something of an old wives' tale. It's the type of thing that quite a few dwarves know, and they laugh about it. It's an old wives' tale. It's a pipe dream, a hollow memory of a time before that there was a time before darkness. It was a time of days of light, a time where the darkness itself wasn't that dangerous, where it was no more dangerous than the day itself. One of the supposed potential founders of your order, this Trude's daughter, this daughter of Trude, was a guardian of that light. Unfortunately, she failed in her duty to protect the light. She was killed, and that's why the world is as it is now. It's darkness, dangerous darkness that swallows it up.
I mean, she couldn't have been killed there though, because that was.
She was not killed there though.
Yeah.
You saw her stand there, and she was well, she looked much the same, but that's dwarven years. The man, the human, looked younger. So
that's what I'm saying. I could surmise from that she did not die in that battle.
Doesn't seem that way.
All right. Well, at least I know that that's probably a real. What should we call it? Vision then, at the very least.
I mean, it does feel that way. It does seem that way.
That's what I'm saying. I have a reason to believe it is. All right. We only have the 2 books though currently, right?
You do only have the 2 books currently.
Well, I guess.
Didn't we need the gear to get the third?
Yeah, it's probably in the dragon's room.
Okay.
Adds up to me.
Colin, how long did all this take?
And
Ryan going back. And
probably
going back and
probably like an hour.
Can we?
You probably do some
treat wounds again?
Probably, yeah. You probably got some time.
Okay, because I think Ryan's still low.
I have 15 health.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Roll them tweet runes.
I'm gonna do it.
I accidentally stabbed myself in the eye.
Roll. A 19. That's 2d8 for you, boy.
That's some dummy thick healing.
Three.
3's a good number.
Alright, I'm at 18 health. I am now over half.
Well,
no, I'm not. I have 38 health. I am 1 point below half.
well, I tried, guys. Sorry.
I can do fresh produce.
What does this do?
For Ryan.
2d4 plus 6.
It should just be 1d4.
Oh, plus 2. Never mind. This spell sucks.
It's... Yeah.
Another 3. That was as good as my 2d8.
Wild.
I mean, hey, that could be the difference between life and death.
Honestly, it probably will be.
Unless I get hit for, 30.
I mean, Mike, you can treat wounds yourself again if you want.
God dang it.
Did you hurt yourself?
No, he drank a potion.
That could be the difference between life and death.
Hold on, I bought a second one, so I'm using both.
Wow, you suck.
Kick!
What's even the point? Just dear God.
Mike hates this game.
Hip is like, do these things even work? As he just like throws it against the ground.
I bought this blackout herb item. Can I just go ahead and drink it?
Oh, never mind.
I tried to heal myself, didn't roll high enough. Alright, whatever.
The
We
dice,
suck.
the dice
Can
give
we
a
just-
I have a +9, couldn't roll 15.
Can we just like walk out and get 8?
Oh yeah, can we
suck.
get Wendigot right quick?
Well, the thing is, you can walk out at any time. You're doing stuff that just none of this is required. You've learned quite a bit already.
Alright.
No, none of this is required. This is America.
All right, well now you have guns.
Let's go, I guess.
All right, let me
Where are we going?
Crazy.
to the final room.
To me, dying is where the fuck we're going.
All right. You make your way to the northern door, one that is covered in scratch marks with the occasional scorch mark. It's a large door, and though it is made of wood, it bears little signs of its age. When you press up against the door, it easily eases open with little more than a squeak, as it leads down a short hallway to another door. This one made of what appears to be iron. It sits slightly ajar, as if it's a capsule leading into another room, as that one opens as quietly and as easily as you find yourself in what appears to be, at least at one time, it was likely a very large, prominent viewing library, with several, but now all the books have basically been pulled off the shelves, piled up around it in various different sort of stacks. And at the center of it, there is what appears to be almost like a throne that is a chair that has been made of books, roughly sort of pushed together.
Oh my god, a nerd has taken over this library.
No, a
He
bookworm.
took knowledge's power as
A
the
bookworm.
A bookworm with a Y.
A Bookwyrm.
A bookworm. There is a draconic-looking figure that
And his hoard is books.
appears to be made of almost. It looks like his skin looks like parchment. It has ink writings across it. It looks like I said. It looks like writing is on his skin. His body looks like it's the pages of a book. It has various ink on it as he sort of yawns and sort of turns in place as
I think
you
he's
enter.
friends with that one in the forge.
I want to.
That was my daddy.
Please don't bring it up.
He stretches, and when he does so, several books tumble to the ground as he opens one sort of bright blue eye. And like I said, you weren't exactly being stealthy
those
when you
books
walked
fell
in.
over. You can only blame your shelf.
Kill
In
Kip.
a deep, rumbling, draconic voice, he says, "Does anyone speak Draconic?"
No, we all
No.
speak Dwarven.
Yes. No. Somebody did.
I mean, I didn't take dwarf.
you know what?
I'm a dwarf.
I'm gonna mulligan, because I take Draconic literally every campaign, and then we never talk to dragons. They always speak English.
This one, this one might speak English. He just opened in Draconic.
I'm mulliganing. I know Draconic now. This is horse shit. It's literally the language I took off when I realized I hit too many.
I would like to look at this creature that I don't know, and I would say, I haven't been to a library in a while. How do we find the books?
I speak Draconic.
You ask the librarian.
No. Do get it? It's a pun.
You can see
Can
on
you
his
explain it to me.
Thanks.
buried in and amongst his throne, there are 2 more of those glowing rune books. It's right next to him. You get the idea. That's just sort of the placeholder is right there. He stretches, and rises up, and in a deep draconic voice, he says, "Oh, who the hell is waking me up?"
We all look a book boy.
Hello?
He almost looks surprised as he says, "You speak the language of my kind."
I do.
Why do bookworms break up?
Hip.
He can't understand you.
I'm saying it anyways. I asked the question.
He might understand.
Must I burn your friend alive to cease his insufferable chattering?
They're not on the same page.
Please burn him alive.
I bet you it tastes like chicken.
I don't think that's gonna be necessary. You don't want to light all of the stuff on fire in here, do you?
Yeah, I was about to say, use some nice books.
Roll a diplomacy check.
Is that who?
That you just said you don't want to set
the one who speaks the language.
Why are books so afraid of their sequels?
Oh boy, you're gonna start a fight just by dumb jokes.
Because they always come after them. Ah!
I think your jester is retarded.
He is.
Hey, we don't use the R word here.
No, this is
He does.
This is
This is
It's
okay. It's okay to use
he's
a slur in
he's
this
old.
situation.
Is it okay to use the R word in Draconic?
They invented it.
He sort of slinks
Probably.
forward slightly, rising up on his throne. And he narrows his eyes and he says, "That is true. But I have
It's true that they invented the R word?
Well, no, yeah, they probably did. That he would set the books alive, but he says, they remain with me, as he spreads his wings and words begin to form on them, as the words of the books themselves begin scrolling through his rings, like looking down a webpage, except they just, he's able to inlay them on his wings, all absorbed into him, much like a script.
Oh no.
I bet he's got cool spells in those pages or something.
Hey, did you happen to gather any math books into yourself?
Can you just, would you kill him? Kill me, too.
Because if you did, that's why you have so many problems.
Look, we're all grouped up. Just hit us with that one fire breath. We're
Right,
we're
no.
level 3. You'll kill
No,
us.
hold on. Hold on. He's got lightning, so he can just do a line. All
Okay,
right.
everyone stand.
Everyone
to the
stand to
line.
the side.
Look, I don't know why, but he asked us all to line up. Kip in front.
No, he's fine. Kip can stand alone. But he's
Hey guys, I'll give you the books if you let me rape him.
Yeah, just let me kill this dude.
I have a
Yeah.
I have a fetish for Birdman. I'll give you the books for the Birdman.
Imagine waking up
Fair trade.
in the
Fair
nap.
trade.
and there's just a bunch of dudes that you've never seen
did he
before
say
standing
something-
around you in your house, and one of them starts telling jokes while in a language you don't understand.
He's only spoken in Draconic this
Did-
whole time.
Did he mention something on electricity?
No.
No,
I will kill
No.
you, Mike.
Lightning.
we don't know what electricity
lightning.
is.
No. He also
Because
he's only speaking
lightning.
Draconic. You haven't understood a word he said.
this book on electricity is shocking.
I will beat your ass.
This is why we can't have nice things. But no, he shakes his head, and while he does say, if I set the books alight, they're still with me. He does, at the very least, seem somewhat hesitant to just set the books on fire. But he sort of rises up and he sort of his eyes narrow, says, "How long has it been since the last interloper? Your years are so brief. Time flies by so quickly for my kind."
At least a couple hundred. I am unsure exactly.
Hey, when you think about books, do you touch your shelf?
Mike is gonna get himself killed.
Well, that means he does speak common, or at least understands it.
No, he's gonna kill him because of Colin, not because of the dragon.
Oh, he doesn't speak common. He speaks pun.
Well, why have you come to my library and disturbed my rest? You're not thieves, are you? The last
No, sir, no, sir.
thieves in
No.
here suffered.
Only Ryan can talk to him. God damn.
He's speaking Draconic.
Just shut up.
The last thieves that came through here suffered an untimely demise. Only one escaped with their lives.
I wonder if he doesn't like accountants.
You're gonna.
I hope not.
Bookkeepers.
I hope not, because I have accounting lore.
Hold on, let me see how much. Let me see how much damage a 9th level lightning bolt's gonna do. All right.
Did you hear about the librarian who was sent to jail?
All right. That's 10d12 damage.
You think you can take that, Mike?
The judge threw the book at him.
You're about to have the book thrown at you, you dumbass.
All right, well, you're about to take 82 points of damage. How's that feel, Kip?
I'm thinking about starting a publication for bookworms who enjoy jokes about food coloring. I'll call it Reader's Digest.
Mike, you've never even heard of Pulp Fiction. All right, but the dragon... The dragon sort of, like I said, on his throne, he says, you know, why are you here? You better not be thieves, because the last ones that came through, I killed. Only one of them managed to get the hell out.
I take out my folio, and I explain that I'm also a seeker of knowledge.
Ooh.
And that's
you have
why
him intrigued.
That's why we've come here.
Your kind, so short-lived, endeavoring to accumulate centuries, millennia of knowledge. How quaint. How
That's
precious.
Why we need it. We can't trust no one is around long enough to pass it on. We have to find it for ourselves. So we've come to your library.
Roll a diplomacy check with a +4 circumstance bonus.
Oh boy, that's a big +4 for me.
So, and people can aid him, but I'll
give Ryan guidance.
You're really hitting the right notes about gathering, being a fellow gatherer of information.
Ryan, you heard me give guidance, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make that a +5 circumstance instead of a +1 and a +4.
That's fine. I mean, that's not awful. How precious, quaint, how cute. Ah, yes. As he sort of once again sort of flashes his wings, and like I said, there's just writing displayed across him. I suppose, as he looks around, your kind does require vast buildings, paper, ink,
boy, don't we.
To do what I can do.
I take out the
if you want to roll a perception check.
Can I also roll a perception check, please?
I will let one of you roll a perception check.
No. Mine is to see if he's actually reacting to any of my puns.
Oh,
he has not understood a word you said.
I perceive nothing.
Or you know what? Hold on.
I can't guidance him again, so
I forgot. Let me see. What is it? Nope. It'll be an Arcana check, actually. This is a knowledge about dragons check. That's not just an insight check.
Oh, okay. Is it a secret roll?
Yes, that's a recall knowledge.
Oh, that means I can use my warfare lore, because the dragon's a creature.
It is a creature, yep. Okay. It shouldn't have been perception. It should have been like the skill used to identify the creature. You pretty.
It has to be better than a 9.
It is. You pretty quickly realize you're sort of, in a sense, barking up the right tree. In appealing to, like, it seems he's clearly has an affinity for gathering knowledge, and on top of that, as he sort of boasts of how easily he can take in the knowledge, while sort of belittling the way the sort of the shorter-lived races have to, like, have libraries and books, you realize, much like a dragon, he is vain. He has a certain pride to him, and while that can be a problem, that can also be an asset, something to exploit. His pride and his vanity over his perceived superiority.
No, he's superior. He's he is the best in this room.
It's perceived because we are aware.
Yeah, it's perceived because it's a fact.
So you do realize, like, you know, he has weaknesses to explore. A lot of times, Mike, I won't necessarily throw a boss fight at you that you have to fight. You can, a lot of times, well, there's times where you have to, but sometimes you really talk your way through it.
Yeah, Mike, you have to fight that Wendigo, so...
You do have to fight the Wendigo.
You should go and get moving.
Can I see these books? Like, because we're standing near a couple on these shelves and a couple on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Are they all in that dwarfish language?
Yeah, it's all ancient. It's all Old Common and Ancient Dwarf and
Old Common and Ancient. But we took the time to try to read some of the Old Common.
Yes.
Yeah, I can work my way through Old
But
Common.
he can work his way through Old Common, but he has to take them and spend time like reading through the books. He has to take an extended amount of time to read through a book.
I tell the dragon that in an earlier part of the library, what were the enemies called, Colin, that eat the books?
Skrit.
There was an infestation of Skrit.
As soon as you say Skrit, he like rises up. Skrit! Those dastardly Fae, those little gremlins. I'll eat them up.
It is not my first time dealing with the Skrit. And I take out the stuff that I had them write down. And I said, we recovered the information. And I take like a couple steps forward and I set it down on the floor. And I take a couple, and I step away from it. And I was like, this is what they took, and we're giving it back.
He takes it and he places one hand on it as he pulls it into his pile, as he nods his head almost solemnly, almost gravely. For that you have my thanks. There is a beast that stalks these mountains that even I dare not butt heads against. It would be difficult for me to get into those lower levels. It has been.
And
he basically said, you know, it's hard for him to get to lower levels and he doesn't want to risk it because there is... Yeah. The Wendigo is definitely stronger than him.
Wait. Have you told us anything about whatever it is you're doing, or are we all just watching you dumbfounded?
Nope, I haven't said anything to you. And I say, if you would be so kind, under your supervision, and I explained to him about the lighthouse and stuff. We're seeking knowledge on this subject. Is there anything that you could do that you would be able to assist us with? A book we could read while we're here?
You can see he looks at you.
And who has the cup?
Max does.
I have the cup. I'll show him the cup, and I'll show him the lantern.
Show him the cup.
I show him the cup and the lantern.
This is the crystal that I was speaking of.
Powerful magics are upon this. A crystal of pure magic itself. My word. Are you perhaps merchants? Would you be willing to sell this?
No, sir.
You don't know what he's saying.
Oh shit, I can't. I thought he was talking to me because I was there. I'm sorry.
No, we are protectors of this. This is under our charge. That's why we seek to understand it, so we can better understand how to keep it safe.
'Tis a shame to have such concentrated magic in one spot. And he sort of sniffs it. Smell. It smells as the air does before a storm, charged with lightning, with electricity, with rain and wind.
This is an ancient device, and so we've come to seek the knowledge of those ancients that are wiser than us, such as yourself, if you'd be willing to help us.
You can see his the frills on his neck sort of flare up, and he lowers his head, clearly pleased by your deference to his age, his knowledge, his research. As he nods his head, he says, Yes, you're kind. You seem wiser than most. Many merely sought to steal it, not recognizing the superiority of Dragonkin and our efforts to do these things. You seem smarter than the rest.
No, I also come from a great library, and I know that knowledge is a thing to be kept safe and hopefully shared with those who need it.
A sentiment I agree with. And he sort of, as he taps, like I said, the information you gave him, I might be powerful, but there is much that my kind can't see. Perhaps your order and myself could do some business together. I have for a long time been cooped up in this library, slumbering, learning its secrets. But even now, he sort of motions around the room to the stacks of books. What I can learn grows thinner and thinner every day. And he sort of taps on the two books in front of them with heavy claws, says, These remain an enigma to me. But the rest I have perused, gone through, sought their secrets.
We found other books like that in various places in this library, and I believe we might have figured out how to view them.
My word. What an interesting concept.
I can show you if you would let us find the knowledge we seek through your collection. I wouldn't take anything, I would just record it.
No, you wouldn't
allowing
take
you to
anything.
Keep the original.
If your fingers get sticky, my breath gets hot.
Careful, you'll burn. They're made of paper.
You see a little bit of smoke pours from his nostrils. Go ahead and roll a diplomacy check, once again with a +4.
With all of my witty jokes, I bet you get a benefit.
Hasn't understood a word you say.
I'm at like a minus 8.
All right, well
you have like a book in our language you can give him so he can just magically learn it.
All of these are probably in. Well,
yeah,
okay,
but theoretically, Belden might have.
I would like to roll above a 10.
He
This is impressive.
Looks at you. He says,
I mean, I don't even know how to aid Ryan at this point because we don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah, because we literally are not a part of this.
We need more charisma characters. One of you
It's not even
fuckers
the charisma
plays a
thing.
bard.
It's not even like the charisma. It's the fact that we can't aid because we don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, no clue because they're talking in Draconic. He sort of says, you can see he seems hesitant, but the thought of this knowing what's going on in these particular books he hasn't been able to read, it intrigues him. Very well. I shall humor you, little madling. For the furtherance of accumulated knowledge, a sign of good faith, so that if you do indeed come from a place that could proffer up some knowledge, a sign that we might work together. But should you, little manling, prove yourself to be deceitful, or should this prove to be a waste of my time, I'll not attack you or kill you. I'll merely seek out that order which bears the mark of your standard and burn it to the ground.
There's no deceit here.
We're totally fine then, if we steal things?
Oh yeah, only Ryan suffers consequences.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's true.
We don't know that though.
Kip steals a book and it leads to the, entire burning of an entire library, because fuck you. But he'll agree to it. You've intrigued him. He's intrigued. It's been a long time since he's had visitors, and it's been a longer time since he's had someone that is a fellow curator, a fellow seeker of knowledge.
My background is conservator.
Yeah, like I said, a fellow. So Belden, this is literally right up your alley. It's almost like it was planned.
You should tell him about the nice Wendigo outside who's looking to start a book club.
Oh, he knows about the Wendigo. That's why he can't go to the lower levels.
Okay, I turn to everyone and I give them the lowdown.
Touch nothing but the lamp. Got it.
In my brilliance and high intelligence score, can't you just give him one of your journals in our language, and then he just magically learns that language?
I don't know if he. Well, first of all, if he wanted to speak common, he could just do it through magic.
Probably
and he doesn't need a book. He chooses not to speak this language to us.
You can likely surmise that common is an inferior tongue to Draconic. Just like your kind is inferior to his kind.
Yeah, I mean, not if he wants to read the books. He's gonna get to our friend's library.
He doesn't read. First of all, we have books in Draconic. Second of all, he doesn't need to read it. He can just absorb it.
Much like the script, he's able to absorb books.
Language isn't an issue here. He's choosing to not speak to you in the common.
Right. Well, he's missing a lot of library jokes.
He probably understands what you guys have been saying the whole time. He just won't talk to you.
He's not missing the library jokes. He's just not lining up a lightning blast because it might kill you.
So, I explain in Draconic the mechanism outside and how the other books showed us scenes from the past. And I believe that those books might do the same.
Curious technology. The likes even I haven't seen. Projection? As if it were what? A memory?
Yeah, as if we were looking at it as an observer.
And you were able to he sort of says, in my youth I didn't recognize what the mechanism does, but I recognized that it was broken. I saw no way to fix it in amongst these.
We found in the ruins a part that we were able to slot in. I don't know how long it will allow it to keep working for, but at the moment it is active.
Industrious. Your kind always had a zeal for fixing problems in the here and now. I suspect because you live the lives of mayflies.
No, we don't have time to put things off for tomorrow.
He nods his head. Yes. I should like to see this.
And I open the door and I know that it's out in the room.
He clasps the two books close to himself, and but he almost courteously says, "After you."
And we walk through.
All right. You get the feeling he's being not only courteous, but he doesn't want to leave anyone behind in his book room. As he waits for all of you to go back to the mechanism hub. Alright.
And I...
My word! As he moves over to the gear and looks at it and immediately recognizes the fix. Where did you find this?
In the lower levels. After we cleared out the scrits, we found this gear in the
dastardly
forge.
little gremlins. You might have my commendations.
Ask him if he knows the skull.
I don't do that.
Do you know the skull?
Tell me, how does it work? Do you merely pull the lever?
Oh, I show him how we slotted in the other books, and is the place obvious for those books where they go?
Yeah.
Okay, and where you put them in, and then you just pull this and activate it.
More of these. He sort of holds them up.
Do you want to see the other books first, so that before you put your books in? Okay, I show him this.
My explorations, I saw books similar to these, but I thought them nearly worthless, magically bound. Curious.
So that you know that I am telling the truth, I show him the scenes from the other books first.
All right. He watches them in awe. A look of excitement on his face as he says, the library. This library, but... God, when was this?
Oh, I have no idea. Centuries ago? Over a millennia?
He is actually going... You know what? That's fair. And since you're showing him the scene, he's going to make potential checks that you might have missed. As he is, whenever it goes to the planetarium, he immediately rushes over to the actual books themselves and starts perusing over them. His massive head, like I said, they're like shades. He's able to like pass through them. So even though he takes up quite a space, he just is able to pass through Truth's Daughter. He's able to pass through Ozymandias to go to the books and sort of look over them. Obviously, he can't turn the pages, but he's able to look at the various scenes on them. He's able to look at the star maps as they're talking about the stars going out and the hungry dark returning. As his eyes narrow, he says, yes, of course. They're different. They're different!
And I show him the copy of the Constellations book that I translated. So I found this in the lower room as well.
Incredible!
Book in ancient common. Well, ancient to us, to me, with listing the constellations, and this one I recognize, and I point to the coin purse, but these other ones I had never seen before.
Yes. That's because they're different now. They're different now, don't you see?
I do.
He points to the Guardian, and he says, the stars, they're the same, but they're different. There's not the right number.
It's missing a star. This one is missing a star.
Yes.
I showed some of these a couple of the constellations. I've never even seen these before.
Oh, they're old, ancient constellations, but they're... He sort of looks at you and nods and says, but they're not the same. The constellations we have now, we have one similar. As he points to the Wild Heart, but the stars, they're different. It's as if they were rearranged slightly, ever so slightly. They're missing stars, or they've gained stars.
That's what we've surmised as well.
And he sort of shakes his head, but what does it mean?
And I show him they talk about the dark, and I show him the next one with them fighting the guy.
I have heard mention of this hungry dark in the oldest of the tomes. Ancient. desperate pleadings. He sort of says, so when you first came in to this room, to this building, it was actually barricaded, from the inside.
He's the one. Yeah, I just assumed he's the one that killed the other guys, because they were trying to... I assume you just caught them. They were running away from the Wendigo and they ran to him.
He says,
Wasn't me.
the hungry dark. They spoke of it. As he motions to the bodies. I was but a wormling when I slithered in here. Began absorbing the knowledge. But these corpses had long since turned to bone and rotted away. They spoke of the hungry dark. Of the encroaching evil. That their saviors had fallen, that the world was doomed.
And this was... Oh, I can't hear him.
So he actually tells you that they were dead whenever he came here. Long dead. He came here like as a wormling, essentially. He was a youngin'. This dragon is not like ancient. He's old, but he's not like ancient.
So wait, so if you tell us that, Ryan, Kip would say, well, if the world was about, it seems like they were panicking about the world ending, and I mean it's been hundreds of years, so that didn't happen.
It seems like they were panicking about the world ending.
Yeah, are we certain that they weren't overstating a more mild problem and we're on a wild goose chase?
Yeah, they actually only had athlete's foot. They really fucked it up.
Well, they're dead, so.
Yeah.
It seems like they
So they
had some sort
took it pretty serious.
Yeah, they took it pretty seriously. But I'm gonna go pee, so I'll let you think. I'll let you think on that. But it seems like they took it real seriously. All right, but so, you talk with him. He's fascinated. He tells you, well, the stars. There's like, he recognizes these constellations to an extent. He is able to recognize them, but he says, well, they're different from what they are in the books now. Some of them are slightly shaped differently. Some of them have extra stars. Some of them are missing stars. But he does get the idea that these constellations are here, just different. You weren't able to recognize him, but he is.
Can he fly?
He can, but he seems a little bit perhaps reluctant to do so. His wings are
his wings and throw all that ink out. I'll throw all that ink off.
Whenever I say he looks like parchment, his wings are like almost literally parchment.
Do we get this because it looks like he's older and like they're just like really thinned out?
No, because it looks like he's made out of book.
It's like he's made out of book. Like he's made out of parchment to an extent.
How close, while he's doing this, how close can we get to him? Is he staying away from us?
He doesn't.
I think you should give him a respectful distance.
He seems like he doesn't like for you to get close to him, but he does seem at this point, Belden has gained his trust enough that you're able to pretty much walk beside him.
Can I see if I can read any of the words that are on him?
Sure. You can try to.
And I don't exactly know the topics or that they're currently talking about until Ryan tells me. But I try to see if it changes as the topics of our conversation change. Like, is he literally displaying what he's thinking about?
Roll a perception check.
Will do. Perception. There it is.
The words themselves are written in a, like I said, very old common. Belden is has to take quite a bit of time just as a conservator, someone who studied this. Takes him time to really go through it, so you don't really recognize the words. But what you do recognize is that
faggot.
Yeah, he calls you an Italian bassoon. You do recognize that whenever he's speaking often normally and talking to Belden, his wings are pretty static. The ink doesn't change. But whenever he gets excited, like on a topic that he seems to want to talk about and know something about, the ink does change. It's almost like his knowledge on that subject is displayed on his wings, but only like whenever he's kind of distracted, when he gets excited about a subject. Like, you know, when when an autistic person starts talking about trains, you know.
Can I start?
He gets really excited and it just starts displaying on his wings. He's unable to sort of hold that back. Otherwise, he's kind of guarded.
Can I start writing some of that down?
Oh yeah, you can copy symbols, and like I said, you can try to discern it, or Belden can try to discern it later.
Well, I asked him, "Shall we see what's on your books?"
I should like that immensely.
And I wait for him to slot them in there.
Right, he places one in. You can see this Bookwyrm is almost giddy, like a kid on Christmas, as he sort of steps back.
And I pull the lever.
Alright. Well, this first one I don't have a scene for, so, you know, I'll just have to describe it to you.
Wow, I quit.
Alright,
Fuck
well,
this game.
I'll see you
It's
next
not even animated, I bet.
This is Colin really trying to get Mike to quit.
I
don't think you understand how my other group plays.
I think Mike wants to quit anyways, because we suck. Especially you, Max.
Mike already told us he's gonna quit. He's just waiting for his group to get back.
You can see that this time the room dissolves to a simple setting. A familiar setting to it, in a sense. A simple tavern. You can see that there was the clanking of glasses, the sound of talk, but it's all worried. It's all harried and hurried talk. You can see the looks on everyone's faces are one of sheer dread. Sheer dread. Every now and then you hear an old word. Sorcerer. It takes you a moment to recognize this, Belden, because it is spoken in an older form of common, but it's one that, after a moment, you recognize the word sorcerer. Sorcerer. This word is mentioned over and over again.
Ask the dragon to translate for you.
I am not so familiar with the languages that are being spoken. I keep hearing the word sorcerer, and that's the only thing I can get. Oh, do you know what else? What about a sorcerer they're speaking of?
All right. He nods his head, and you can see you coming to him for help. That really makes him like, aww.
Really jacks him off.
Basically, it's like, you need my help, and you're coming me to ask for it. That, like I said, you're really applying sort of to his vanity as he nods his head. He says, yes, yes, little one. They speak of a dark sorcerer. As well as he sort of turns his head slightly. Creatures of shadow and bone.
Boy, do we know about some of them.
I turn to the group. They're talking about some black dude who does magic. And with the
Hold up.
I hate you.
Oh, is it that fat guy?
Defeatist, it sounds like. Worried. But then you see a familiar face. Ozymandias. Young. Like I said, he's the old man. He is let me bring up where I can bring up character art. He is this one, but he's young. You know, he's no older than 20, 25.
He's that one, but looks different.
He's that one, but he looks younger.
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Hold on, I forgot to share show players. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Show players.
He's
that guy, but young.
That guy looked different.
He's that guy if he was, 40 years younger. He, as he's standing there, you can see him sitting in a corner quietly before he slams his ale down, and he sort of, with a loud voice, begins talking. You are able to pick out words like sit and quiet as, to you, Belden. He is able to translate. He's asking if they're going to sit and take the encroaching darkness quietly, or if they'll stand against it. He calls them cowards.
And I'm translating everything that he's saying. We gotta we're playing telephone with this movie.
He asks them if they'll be cold like wayward.
I'm reading subtitles to you in a different room.
Or will they stand like the warriors of old? And for the most part, there is a quiet that goes over. But however, in and amongst the patrons, there are a handful of people that step forward. And you recognize them once again. There is the Fawn, Boudica, there's the Dwarf, Truthstalker. There is the Nephilim Cassiel, and there's the old
does
dwarf
the fawn
Lazarus.
Have a dumpy?
I mean,
is she got a bakery?
She's got a tail.
I don't think so.
I mean, is it a thick tail?
She's kind of cheeked up.
She's kind of skinty, I think.
Are fawns into thick tails? Is that like a thing they're into?
Maybe, I don't know. You have to ask a fawn.
Maybe they like a real thin tail.
Maybe.
He says, and as they come together, you can hear the dragon says, "They say that they will fight this darkness and this sorcerer, that they will cast it back like the warriors of Eld."
Who?
The warriors of Eld, the olden warriors.
Okay.
It seems they also have legends of warriors in the past as well, fighting darkness. We'll cast them aside. And that's where that sort of ends, as you see this initial group of people coming together to fight darkness and this sorcerer. A simple beginning, a humble beginning. One that you know ends in both triumph and tragedy. You know that Lazarus dies against this fighting this sorcerer. Well, you shouldn't have been named that then. I mean, that is true.
It's the best name for coming back.
They have mostly been given conveniently important names like Cassiel and Lazarus and Boudica.
Like if this fawn didn't want her daughters raped by a Roman, she shouldn't have been named Boudica.
And Truthstalker, although her name is Keska Truthstalker, so. But that is the end of that scene. Alright, an excited-looking dragon sort of pulls back. He says, "Incredible. Absolutely incredible."
And I'm over by the lever. I was like, "We've got one more. Whenever you're ready."
He nods excitedly. Yes. Put the book in. As he sort of, he actually, in his excitement, fumbles it. His hands are a little bit too large for this.
Try to catch it.
He actually hands it to you, Kip, as he motions for you to put it in.
Alright, I'll put it in.
Right.
And I crank that.
Alright.
Now we see Soldier Boy.
You find that you are no longer in a inn. There's no and yet the same dread kind of fills the air as you are looking at what appears to be a moat of rock floating in void darkness, except for two bright glowing eyes that sort of pierce from it. Unfortunately, Lazarus is not here, as it is only the four of them Ozymandias is older. Even older than he was at the planetarium. As he sort of holds himself up heavily on a blue banner. This banner actually appears to be a book that is open on a pair of hands, like two open palms opening up a book. You immediately recognize that Belden as kind of like an older symbol for your order.
They didn't have the torch then.
They did not have the torch then.
That was before we found the torch.
That was before there was an emphasis on light. But it is a very similar order similar to your standard. It's very similar to your sign. And you can see that Boudica and Cassiel and Keska, Truth's daughter, and Ozymandias are beaten and bloodied and barely standing on this moat of earth that is surrounded by darkness with two glowing eyes on it. Almost triumphantly, there are four entities of shadow. Two of them you actually recognize. There is obviously the sorcerer, which you saw them fighting earlier, the one that you saw previously at the lighthouse.
Boy howdy, those are some thick-ass fingies.
Hell yeah, but there is also the hag, which you recognize from the Last Hope Inn.
That's that motherfucker from Dune.
It's the red hag.
She is the red hag.
She's hotter.
That's Lord Harkonnen.
But however, you see two other figures that are made of shadow.
That motherfucker's coming to take our spice.
One that
dude.
One that is clad in sort of black robes and wears a jester's cap with a porcelain mask that is cracked. The Harlequin. That one. And another almost... It's massive like the sorcerer, but muscular. Bestial. Is that one. So you got the sorcerer, the hag.
Oh, it's Garuk when he turned black.
Yeah.
You got the sorcerer, the hag, the harlequin, and the beast.
So Palpatine, some goth mommy, a clown, and the actual devil.
Jack
Basically.
of Blades at home.
And this is like I said,
Jack of Blades at home and Satan.
This is all with behind them a void with glowing eyes, the hungry dark, watching as you turn and see they're beaten and they're broken. They've lost. They were unable to stop this encroaching darkness. As
they're clearly outnumbered. They should have brought more dudes. So they brought like one or two more guys.
You can see Boudica sort of collapses to the ground, followed by Cassiel, and then Keska, as they sort of fall to their knees forward, succumbing to their wounds. The last one to remain standing is old Ozymandias, who props himself up with his banner. As he sort of looks onwards at the sky, his eyes scanning a pure void. It is pitch black, as he sort of furrows his brow, looking past these four assembled people of darkness, these four harbingers of doom. He looks straight into the glowing eyes, and he says, "What light we have left, we will use to protect this world." And as he sort of falls to the ground, all four of the good guys, I'm not gonna try to make it too flowery, all four of the good guys dissolve much like Lazarus did into stardust as they turn to glitter, and there are...
Carl Sagan was right.
And they each leave two crystal motes behind, and the stardust that they make cast themselves into the sky and make constellations. They stud themselves as stars in the great darkness. And you, as they sort of futilely, desperately cast their light against the darkness, you hear a deep, horrible laugh that echoes from not just the hungry darkness, but the four harbingers. as the crystals lie glittering on the ground. One of them you immediately recognize is the same as the actual, is the water crystal, the one you took from the lighthouse. That came
Which
from.
one did that? Who
that
did
came
that
from
come
Cassiel.
Ozzy? Oh, Cassiel, okay.
Cassiel, the one that the angel that wielded a stormy lightning greatsword. When the dragon spoke, he did say it smells like the air before a storm. He did say that, but that's where that memory ends, as they failed. They lost. They were unable to hold back the darkness despite their best efforts. But what little energy they had left, they cast into the skies. As the stars themselves had been eaten away. As like I said previously, in the planetarium, they saw their stars disappearing. Now a void. They cast themselves back into the sky to give them this world what little protection they could give. Making new constellations. Including the ones that you now know. The ones that are similar to those old ones. But not quite the same.
Oh, this is real easy. This is like a Dark Souls situation where if we live, it's okay, and if we die, it's okay. It just time loops.
Essentially, yes.
We're in like a Dark Souls. Alright, well that really takes the pressure off. That really takes the pressure off.
So far, I mean, it seems there were the similar constellations before. There may have been a similar struggle. And yet...
Actually, Ryan, it's if you live, it's bad. If you die, it's bad.
No, it's okay for me because I'm dead.
I mean,
and I'll even say, you see which ones they cast themselves up to. Cassiel casts himself up into the lightning bolt. You know, the tempest, essentially the storm. That one lightning bolt that has a yellow star.
I'm gonna guess that Boudica is the Pegasus.
Boudica is actually the Wild Heart.
The Wild Heart.
The Wild Heart, my bad.
Wow, Rick, you fucking suck. You don't know shit about stars.
Boudica casts herself up to create the Wild Heart. It looks like a big old tree. And it was sort of drawn out as kind of like a tree, you know. Let's see. Ozymandias casts himself up to be the hammer. The leader, the craftsman, the artisan, the strategic mind. The last one standing, the leader to an extent. Keskatrude's daughter casts herself up to be the guardian. You know, the protector, essentially, the people that walk in that sort of light. And then you don't see what Lazarus casts himself up to, but you can only assume that it's the serpent, as it also glows faintly whenever they cast themselves up. That's the constellations they become. Their essence, what's left of them, transformed in as they declare that they will do with their last efforts. They will protect this world as best they can. They cast themselves in the star and leave two pieces of themselves behind. These crystals, one of which you've already gained, the water crystal.
Oh.
In the vision, did the crystals remain on whatever that floating rock was?
You don't know because the memory ends.
Okay.
All you know is that somehow, at the very least, the water crystal was shepherded away somehow, whether that be through cast out by their last efforts. Maybe they didn't care about it that much. Maybe they thought they had won no matter what. You're unsure. But
they
somehow,
this guy and shot off like the Dragon Ball.
Very potentially, but one of them at the very least ended up as protection in this lighthouse.
You're telling me if we find all the crystals, we might be able to get a pair of women's underwear?
Possibly.
Yep.
Did any of you, and you should translate this to the dragon so he can answer as well, did they cast a spell when they transferred into the crystals? Like, can we get that?
No,
I think they just fucking broke.
They held an action, and then we still don't know what the spell was.
Well, now
Okay.
I mean, now that you know what.
I mean, that answer might be in the books.
Well,
yeah.
now that you know what they are, maybe you can sort of work with that to... You know the crystal itself has some sort of sentience. Some kind.
Do we know which one of them became the water crystal?
That would be
Yeah,
Cassiel.
the angel.
The angel.
Okay.
Became the water crystal. You also have suspicions of potentially another crystal. Like I said, there is talk of some sort of protection in the forest, as if and Kip, you would have known about this living so close to the forest, that the forest itself seems to be somehow protected in some way. There seems to be some other sort of protection within the forest. So that's, now that you're like, the water crystal was able to use in this lighthouse to protect this little area, maybe there's something in the forest that could do that. And to that extent, there's something in the mountains, it seems, because Karen Maldor in the region is protected as well.
Hold on. Have we looked at the actual constellations outside of the building? And I'd turn to the rest of the group.
Not yet.
Well, I mean,
we know that
we haven't really had time.
I've seen the night before. Yeah.
Yeah. What I mean.
We also looked for the telescope.
What I mean is, so we have the crystal from one of the constellation people, and it's gone out. Is the constellation missing a star? Is it gone?
Is the Tempest one of the constellations that no longer exist, Colin?
The Tempest does exist.
Or
it's just different.
Yeah, that one's still there.
Okay, so it going out isn't like we can't just look up and go, oh, that one's out.
Right. The most of them are different. Most of them are still there, but they're missing a couple of stars, so they make different shapes.
Right.
But if you look at it and you go, oh, well, if there's another star there, then yeah, that would be that. That's what most of them are.
This happened.
There aren't very many that are just like flat out completely removed.
This fight happened a long time ago.
No, but the crystal just went out. I'm asking now.
Yes, because Mike, we looked at the telescope and they were all there.
Yeah. We did that last week. We looked at the telescope.
Right, I just didn't know if the telescope was actually showing us reality, or was it like a magical contraption?
I know, I'm pretty sure it's just the telescope looks outside.
It's hard to say.
I mean, I would know because I know what our constellations look like.
But you do know, that at the very least, you know, there's something about these crystals. There's something about the constellations. They've been changing. But the point is, the dragon is absolutely fascinated by it. He sort of says, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And I say to him, well, now it's even more imperative that we figure out what we have here with us.
Can I see the crystal again?
I tell Max he wants to see the crystal.
I
hold up the cup.
I take the cup first. It's like, let me see it, and I do my.
Yeah, can we pop it out?
Yeah, I do the thing, and I just like open up the slot that I have it in.
Can you get a butter knife and just stick it in there and like pop that bad boy out?
I just move the wood out the way.
Oh.
I tell Max, like, I'll just put it back in a second.
You know, like when you move rooms from one to another, and you just get a butter knife and you just like pop that bad boy out.
Yeah, no, I just move the wood.
He sort of sniffs it and looks at it. He says, "Yes, of course, I see it now. My God, a seed. Is sort of seed that smells of lightning and storms, of strife and struggle, redemption, of desperation. Yes, I can smell all of it on it." He looks at you and he says, there was a book, an old book, a diary of some sorts from this Ozymandias, one that spoke of anxiety, desperation, of While he believed he had thrown back the darkness, he worried that it would return, that the sorcerer would prove too strong for them. He spoke of, well, a seed of he and his allies, an aspect. Something that, if they were to fail, they might pass on to a next world, something that could help them fight the darkness. He sort of sniffs it. Such magics on this. Such powerful magics. A relic of the past.
Would like to write down whatever's on his wings again.
I tell everyone what he just said.
Pretty excitedly.
He's hiding something.
He's pretty excitedly talking. So you can see the wings are flashing excitedly. This is a relic of the past. Little piece of that man, the winged one, who wielded a great sword of lightning. Yes, this is a piece of him.
Well, there are other pieces as well.
It would seem so. At least 2 apiece. You saw them go each turn into 2 crystals.
So we would need to seek those out. Just like in a Link Before Time.
Kind of. Alright, so for gameplay purposes, these crystals are called relic aspects. And they are currently paired together. Each one gets 2. You have found the water. They don't have to be attached to a particular weapon or item, but for the most part, it did seem that each person had a, for the most part, particular item that they called their own. They sort of seem to have an affinity towards item. You don't have to have that type of item because it can attach to you, but you get some bonuses if you have it attached to that item.
Do they get stronger if we super glue them together?
Well, you have to super glue at least 2 together.
In
the case of the
what if we put like 4 together? Is that like twice as good?
In the case of the Great Sword, it was obviously, or in case of the Water Crystal, it was attached to Cassiel, who had a Great Sword made of lightning. If you attach it to a Great Sword, the Great Sword itself will, beside becoming a Water aspect relic weapon, will also get it will automatically upgrade its runes, essentially, as you level up from, like, +2. Well, it will automatically get its potency runes at the correct levels. You won't have to go seeking out potency runes and things like that.
What if all I have is a good sword? Is that okay?
Well, I have a great one.
Too bad.
Alright, so...
I don't know, Mike, you've missed a lot. I think your sword might be an okay sword.
Colin.
Yeah.
Do I have any idea what the dwarven, what's it called, a seed stone or whatever is?
You do.
Because I mean, is there like a? There's got to be some sacred place in here.
Probably at least one here.
Yeah.
You do know that there is something that protects the mountains of Cairn Maldor. You don't know exactly what. You don't, like I said, it's impossible to know which aspects protect which region, and since they've only got a handful of them, you know that one's protecting the forest, seems like one's protecting the mountains. You've heard that there's one that's protecting a city that's surrounded by clouds, essentially, that's able to use air to push stuff away. You do know there's one that was somewhere in or around Cairn Maldor. That being said, it does seem something was stolen from the actual thing, and you do know Lazarus was the first to die, so... And he died many years before the rest of them.
Where, so there's a Wendigo on this mountain, and there was a beast guy in the scene.
There is.
The Wendigo. The Wendigo is clearly the thing, Colin. I figured it out. That's protect the mountain.
There is at the very least
Should I be scared of that thing too?
That being said, it does seem there is some protection in and around Cairn Maldor, so wherever it is, it's still around the region. You know, there's one in the forest where the hags, you run into the hag. You know, there's one that was farther to the east, or no, it would be west, let's say, that's protecting you from the sorcerer. The Harlequin, you have no clue where he is. You have not encountered him.
So we haven't found the Harlequin or actual Satan.
Or the Hungry Darkness. You have not found the Hungry Darkness.
Yeah, or the dude from Disturbed.
And that doesn't just, and that also means there's potentially multiple regions that have multiple things that are protected, because there's huge swaths of land. Essentially, it comes down to, wow, there's some ways to empower yourselves to protect this world from these 4 harbingers of a great doom. You might want to travel the land, defeating these harbingers and gathering these powerful crystals to empower you against the hungry darkness,
our Lord and Savior, Jesus
so that
Christ.
You might succeed where this last party failed, and where many parties have failed.
Well,
I don't know how much more obvious I can
the rocks and they lost, so clearly the rocks won't help us.
I don't know how much more obvious I can make the story.
They might beat rock, but we've got paper, so unless they're scissors, they are fucked.
That being said, the relic seats I've also tried to, in a sense, kind of tailor to your characters. So
no, I know that fat motherfucker. He's one of those ones that picks like gun. It's like, oh, I shoot you, I win. I know that. I know that motherfucker doesn't play fair.
He picks magic. The fucking sorcerer always.
Yeah, horse shit. He picks some horse shits.
How long has the Wendigo been around?
Well, the dragon's able to tell you that is since he's been here.
Okay, so it's not something that's appeared since the crystals have died off.
I mean, it's hard for him to say. He just knows it's been here. The dragon is younger than the Wendigo.
Has not a single of these freaking idiot dwarves just walked up and said hello to this guy?
The Wendigo?
No, the dragon.
I mean,
no one has
the whole point is
here.
nobody's walked up here, except for apparently someone from Hold Huckum who managed to sneak in, like some thieves, although the dragon said, no, they were thieves, so he killed them. Except for one managed to get away.
Oh, some of them managed to get away, okay.
One of them managed to escape. But he's like, some thieves came in about like a century ago. I killed them all except for one. He managed to sneak away, the little shit. But the Wendigo itself was like, why don't the dwarves walk up here and talk to me? Because they'd get fucking Wendigoed.
I mean, some of them would.
They would get Wendigot.
I don't think you know how strong the Wendigo is.
Yeah. You trip one.
I mean,
on top of that,
in all honesty, if they brought like 300 dwarves up here, like they have to crit to hit him. But if they're all rolling attacks...
On top of that, it's not only that, it's also, this portion is the Private Jarl's Library. On top of that, the Private Jarl's Library does still have a portion of it that has the most important and common knowledge, like crafting recipes, etc., the recent history, all that they can still access. That was the lowest level where you met the two, like, old librarians. They do still have access to the basic... the basic library they still can access it. That was that one room. They're in now in the part up on the mountain that not only is a private library, but now there's a Wendigo that wanders these slopes.
I'm just saying, if this was solely human made, it'd be all in one building. Dwarves got to over engineer everything they do.
I apologize.
Hold on.
Look at this fucking giant gear room. Why can't this just be a TV? Why you gotta do all this shit?
They built all of this shit,
I like it though.
And none of them thought to pick up their goddamn axe and build a tunnel to here.
They did.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they built. Except it comes out on the side of the mountain at some point. There's open paths.
Trust dwarven engineering.
On top of this was
All
built
right, y'all
by.
are going into like an incredibly racist place.
Yeah, this was built by both dwarves and humans.
They're like the Italians of cars.
I speak Dwarven, so you will know when I'm calling you a slur.
This was a joint effort between Ozymandias and Keska Trutzdotter.
So it's a joint effort between the Germans and the Italians, and that never ends well.
Perhaps.
And it's great for America.
Yeah, it's really going to empower our economy for the next 40 years.
Thanks, Reagan.
Alright, but the point is, yeah. So, now we're getting to the real, you know, I'll speak in gameplay terms to make it completely clear. The real meat and potatoes of this campaign, the idea of relic weapons and relic seeds. Empowering yourself through finding these crystals of these heroes. People that, you know, they failed their fight, but they sacrificed themselves, they cast themselves into the stars, they left pieces of themselves behind so that the next heroes might have a chance to fight this darkness where they failed. And it could very well be that there's been an entire litany, entire history of people that have failed before them, but perhaps these relic seeds, these crystals, are getting stronger and stronger over time as heroes use them, and their accumulated experiences gather into them, making stronger and stronger heroes.
It's like a real Ray Palpatine scene.
You know, Mike, it's a fucking Pathfinder it's a tabletop role-playing game campaign, you know.
What Colin was telling me is in order to become stronger, I got to buy my lady bits.
Possibly. Alright.
I'm just saying, you keep fucking reigniting the flame.
So,
we're in Dark Souls 1.
The way that relics
literally.
The way that relics work is they because if you are attach them to their particular attributed weapon, or in this case their whatever, you know, their previous wielder had it attributed with, like I said, if it's a great sword for Cassiel, it automatically levels up its basic progression runes with you. Or it's able to upgrade itself. You don't have to pay for it. It'll do it for free, essentially. You might have to do some minor quest or kill something, but usually you don't have to pay for it, essentially. Something will come up that will automatically allow it to progress. And it gets relic aspects, which are bonuses on top of that. You get these no matter what. If you wanted to put, even though the water aspect of Cassiel is attached to a greatsword, if you wanted to put it on a shield or a breastplate, you would still get the bonuses of a water aspect, and that does impart certain benefits, essentially. These are called gifts. As you level up, you get more and more gifts as automatically. You don't have to roll for those. You don't have to do anything for those. As you hit this certain level, you will get these gifts. And that's sort of how the idea of relic weapons work. They're weapons that level up with you.
Cool.
Or items that level up with you. Like I said, in Cassiel's case, it was a great sword. Ozymandias had a banner, essentially. Lazarus had a sort of bandolier, the Thoros bandolier. The very same Thoros bandolier, like I said, you found in the chest.
I'm gonna come home. My mom's gonna call me a weeb.
Keska Trutzdotter had a shield. You didn't see what the Wildheart has. Hers is a little bit more subtle.
Tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp, yeah, it's a tattoo. But yeah, that's the idea. Fascinating, the Bookwyrm says.
You gotta slowly get exit only on the small of your back. Each letter that gives you a new bonus.
He said,
why exit only?
The dragon says, "I've got a tramp."
She wasn't into anal.
The dragon says, "I've got a tramp stamp. Could I be a hero?"
Sure. Is it a tramp stamp when you're made of writing?
No. Oh, it's not.
It's a tramp text.
Or is that just like skin?
I mean, is there a rubber stamp around here? Can we literally stamp him right above his tail? That counts.
I think you gotta buy him a drink first before you start stamping his tail, buddy.
Yeah, that might be
Look,
the case.
I'm just saying, to get a tattoo for him is super easy because you don't need to use needles. You just literally write on them.
No, you can just get like a pencil.
Yeah, well, that's removable. That feels.
No, you use like a torch and you like burn it onto him.
Oh god.
A gel pen. You can get a gel pen.
Ooh.
There you go.
Smear a little bit by accident, and then it's just fucked.
Yeah, let me go to ye olde Staples and go pick one up.
True. I don't know what scientist invented gel pen ink, and I don't know what the property of gel pen makes it literally the worst ink that's ever existed in the history of humankind.
Yeah, fuck.
All right. Well.
But like the wind blows and that shit is just like a blotch across your page.
I'd say you were smart enough and knew the right buttons pressed to successfully maneuver around having to fight the Bookwyrm, as he seems imminently fascinated by what you've discovered.
What was the boss mechanic for us to fight him, Colin?
Well, I'll show it to you. If you had to fight it, hold on, where's the Bookwyrm room? Activate the Bookwyrm room. All right.
You have to let him
if you had to fight it with the Bookwyrm up here, he is a standard sort of dragon, except he has spell breath. It casts magical spells as his breath, but instead of recharging it on a 1 to 6, he can eat a book to recharge it from one of the book piles. So he's able to recharge by spending an action to just eat a book. He automatically recharges it and he's able to cast it again. But there's the chandeliers above the book piles, so you could have burnt the book piles to force him to sort of
productive.
Well,
what
yeah,
we came here to do.
It does, but the whole point is, if you had to fight him, the book, like the rune books wouldn't burn, but the basic books would.
Oh, this dude would have clapped our cheeks.
I don't think he needs the breath.
But he has a powerful spell breath attack that it does have the standard recharge on a 1 to 6, but he can automatically recharge it with
We're gonna burn all the books, and this man's gonna roll the 1-turn recharge every time.
It was Consume Tome he had, and then he had Spell Breath. But the thing is, his Spell Breath was random. He had to roll a d4, essentially, to cast it. And then he still had the standard Draconic Frenzy, so he could make a bunch of attacks with...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that dude would...
He's made of paper, though.
He is made of paper. He does have a weakness to fire.
Yeah, I'm weak to dragon.
Yeah, just throw water on him, and then his claws are just gonna be like floppy and gross.
That's great, Mike, but I can't throw water on him when he kills me.
That being said, you made an ally out of him.
I have 20 health.
You intrigued him. You really played to his vanity, his interests, and
his love of puns.
Well, you know, we'll not go that far.
I'm taking credit for this. But
he is actually willing to help you.
I asked him his name.
His name is Sasthrym.
Sasthrym.
I'll copy and paste it in the chat.
With multiple S's.
Yes. Oh, that came out as Draconic, didn't it?
No,
it's
Sasthrym.
Draconic.
So
you have Draconic.
You have Draconic, so you can see it.
Oh.
Sasthrym.
Right on top of that. In the character name.
There you go.
I tell him that I will inform my order of you and of these books, and I'll see if we can create a party to come and maybe exchange. We could offer you things from our library if you would allow us to copy some books from yours.
Of course, I would welcome it.
And you're always welcome to come visit our keep.
Where is it exactly?
Where are we, Colin? We don't. There's on a map of the world, so I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, you're pretty far to the east, like real far.
To the east, northeast, like dead center,
like
southeast,
east, almost southeast.
Oh.
So you are in a mountain range that runs north to south, essentially, and you're on the edge of that mountain range. Beyond this mountain range, there is various lands, but as far as the map itself is known, you're about as far east as it goes. Apparently, there's supposed to be like a desert beyond this region, but you're pretty far to the southern edge of this mountain range.
Okay.
Pretty close to the close. So there's a bunch to the west and some to the north.
Okay. We're in the northwest.
And it's up to you to determine where you want to be. You could be farther out east. There's desert that way, all sorts of stuff.
No,
or...
we're from the northwest by on the coast.
Okay. A great distance, but that means.
Oh, it's many weeks, as you know, for my little legs.
That means that there's even better information there, more unusual things I haven't heard. And what was your name?
Oh, my name is Belden, sir.
Belden. He nods his head. I should like to do business with your kind.
Oh yeah, It might be some time for me, but it will be a blink of an eye for you before others of my order have come to speak with you.
Yes. All right.
Maybe together we can figure out something about that Wendigo.
Perhaps. I should like to have a gun. I have no love of the darkness or the night or the beasts that dwell in it. They are a threat even to myself.
And I ask if I would be allowed to copy down the stuff about the crystals from that diary that he mentioned.
Of course. If we are to be partners, your kind and mine, in our pursuit of knowledge and betterment, it is only right that I share what I know.
I turn to him and I ask him, "Hey, what's on your wings?"
He turns and he says in common, "Writing."
I turn to him. I say, well, speaking of writing, do you have a book about the linguistics of this ancient language, this library?
Yeah, but it's written in that language.
Well, I know, but that might help.
I do not, but I can understand the tongue well
Max
enough.
is looking for a old dwarven hooked on phonics, but the hooked on phonics is for old dwarven kids.
Should you need someone to translate for you, I have developed enough understanding of the tongue that I could translate.
Okay, thank you.
He sort of bows his head.
And I ask him. I take one of the copies of my folio with my tactics and stuff from the people I've met while being a knight, and ask him if he would like to add this copy to his pile of the people I've met and the things I've seen on my journeys.
I should readily welcome it.
And I set the book. I set that copy on one of the piles.
Alright, but yeah, you have successfully won over the dragon. I'll consider that as successful as if you had defeated in combat. You will level up to level 4.
I'm leveling up to level 8.
Right now?
You don't have to do it right now. It could be the end of the... but between now and, this game and next week, you're leveling up to level 4.
Because we might have had to go fight the Wendigo, so I was a bit, whatever.
So we ain't fighting the Wendigo.
You know what I mean.
At level 4, you ain't fighting the Wendigo.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you, Rick. At level 14, we ain't fighting the Wendigo.
No, I mean roll initiative. That's what I mean by fighting the Wendigo.
Oh, that's the only rolling we'd be doing before it one shot each of us.
I'm in combat with it.
But, alright, so, who wants the water aspect? You know, the crystal is the water aspect relic crystal.
I
Well,
mean, okay.
Mike's got a sword.
They
do we know what they align with?
You saw what crystals came from who, and you saw they each, for the most part, had items that were attached to them. In the case of you know that the Cassiel, the Nephilim, had a great sword. He became the Tempest, which was the lightning bolt thing. So it has to do with like storms, essentially. Because there was a brief talk about like the Tempest whenever you read about it. It's like, it has to do with like storms and unrelenting onslaught and things like that.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if we see the bandolier and we see these relics, artifacts, and we know the relics go into the artifacts, correct?
They don't necessarily go into the artifacts. It's just you get the idea, yeah.
We get the idea that they combine together, right? So I would assume then that there's probably a great sword out there that Mike will be able to get, and that the water ones go with it. So we should put those together, correct?
Yeah, but you can take them out and stuff.
It's more. You can go ahead and take the aspect now. It's more.
Put it, you said they do certain things. What does the water one do?
The water one, like I said, someone will have to attune to it first. They'll have to take it into themselves to take on the water aspect.
You gotta eat it.
Alright, I shove it down Mike's bird mouth. What does it do?
Alright.
Well, it's got attuned to it, so it takes an hour.
I said I shove it down his bird mouth. That's like the same thing.
Boof it goes faster.
Yeah, in an hour.
So
you'll know.
There are whenever you're at the level whenever you attune to a relic aspect, like I said, the relic aspects they level up with you, but you're obviously at a pretty low level, so all you get is essentially the minor aspect of the water relic. Like I said, it's mostly the relic aspects are more of like a flavorful but minorly useful thing. One of the nicer things is that if you attach it to like the weapon that's supposed to go to, it doesn't have to be a specific greatsword, it could just be a greatsword. Because it has more to do with being attached to a character. You don't have to worry about getting a potency rune for your greatsword again. It'll level up with you. It's that kind of thing. But in this case, it is a water relic gift, a minor gift that is called Monsoon Curtain.
That was my nickname in college.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of badass sounding.
It is, like I said, it's not super wildly
I got
useful.
real damp.
You're able to call down a violent rain in a location within 120 feet. The wall is 5 feet thick and 30 feet long, and so you can call down a wall of 30 feet long, 30 feet high, 5 foot thick, and it lasts for a minute. It stands vertically. The wall has the following effects. If a fire effect crosses through the wall, it either uses the outcome 1 degree of success worse than the result of its attack roll, or its target uses the outcome 1 degree of success better. So a critical strike through the wall would become just a hit. A hit would become a failure. A failure would become a critical failure. So it always brings it down 1 degree lower. A creature with a weakness to water that crosses the wall or starts their turn in the wall takes damage equal to their weakness, and the wall imposes a -2 penalty check to perception checks to sense creatures or objects on the other side. So for 1 minute, you can bring down a wall of water, essentially. That is the minor aspect. You know, it's a minor aspect, but it's like, okay, whatever.
That also gives you one sweaty ass pussy.
Hell yeah.
I gotta go pee.
Gives you...
That being said, that is one of the options that you can choose as a minor gift for, or Monsoon Curtain is a minor gift that you can choose for that, or I'll allow, let me go through the minor gifts here for water. Monsoon Curtain is 3 actions, so it's 3 actions to make a wall of water, essentially. There is the 2-action Tidal Crash, which is you can do once per day. It makes a sphere of water. You make a spell attack roll versus a target within 30 feet. On a success, you deal 2d10 plus 2 bludgeoning damage, and it levels up at 3rd level and every 2 levels afterwards, and that's with your if it's a relic weapons automatically level up, so they're always your level. So there's
Tidal
that.
Crash sounds like a soda you would see a commercial for in the 90s, and a bunch of kids are drinking it, and they all have a spiked hair.
It does, yeah.
I like this one. Lashing Currents.
And then that shit gets outlawed because it's
Lashing
like full of
Currents. This has to
cocaine
be
or something.
on a weapon, so your relic would have to be a weapon. Water collects at the tip of your relic weapon. You can adjust your grip on your relic as an interact action to allow you to make Lashing Current weapon strikes with that relic. These deal 1d4 damage, have disarm, finesse, reach 10 feet, trip, and versatile. They are in the flail group. Your Lashing Current strikes gain the benefit of your fundamental property and or your fundamental runes and your property runes, though any property runes that would not be applicable to the Lashing Currents are not applied. So you would, like I said, it would be, if you had potency, the striking runes, it would go from 1d4 to 2d4. It would increase your weapon damage. So you could choose as an action to give yourself Lashing Currents, which basically give you 10-foot reach and disarm and finesse and all that stuff.
What does finesse do?
You can use your dex instead of strength to hit.
Basically.
Okay. Is anyone here dex based?
I am. Max is.
Well, it gives you the option, because it's not you have to.
Or you can just keep it and
can.
or you can just keep it on your weapon.
Okay.
It doesn't force you to use dexterity. It's just you can choose to use it.
Right.
But if you use it, basically you would, in the instance of your great sword, you'd be giving up your big weapon damage die, but you'd be getting a 10-foot reach as well as the trip and disarm traits, which means if you were to try to trip or disarm someone, you would add your weapons bonuses, like your +1s for its runes to it, so you'd get a +1 to your trip, or +2 to your trip, +3 to your, however, whatever rune you have on it. Plus you could change the damage type from whatever it is to, well, slashing, so, that doesn't change. And it is in the flail group, and the flail group is usually a little bit better than the greatsword group, because it can knock stuff down. And it's a single action to do that, to change that.
Right. Does anyone have a particular want for it?
No.
I don't
No,
have
it
a
seems
weapon.
like something that would be, well,
Colin, if you put it into a non-weapon, does it also upgrade? Like if you put it to your armor, do you get the
you can't have lashing.
potency runes for
can't have Lashing Currents, but if you put it into armor, the armor will upgrade.
Or like if you put it into a
like
shield,
its sturdy runes will upgrade.
Okay, does it apply? And it applies even if you don't have it. It upgrades the level.
Yep.
At the point which you would, yeah.
Yep. Although I might every now and then make some sort of minor quest that you have to go on for story reasons,
Give me a quest.
But that's the sort of idea of relic weapons. They're the kind of thing that level up with you. But I did key these items to you, so like I said, it's a great sword that is storm based and wind based and flying based, so
It definitely mostly seems like
it really feels like a Kip thing.
It really seems like it's for Max so he can throw the great sword.
I just don't want to take
Yeah.
it if somebody really wants it, kind of thing.
Don't worry. Like I said, I made it kind of key to everyone, so that also means that everybody will have the opportunity to get their own shit.
Right. All right. I am happy to take it.
Do you want Lashing Currents, Monsoon Curtain, or Tidal Crash as your minor gift?
I kind of like the whip-based one.
It's good. It's fun. Like I said, the minor gifts are from their, like, if you haven't, they're minor. They're not a huge deal, Okay.
Disarm could be very useful. And trip.
All right.
Yes. Being able to trip at range is
It's useful. And like I said, the bonus you get from tripping, that's pretty good.
that's literally
The only
the
problem is-
advantage of pole arms. The good ones. They have like trip and disarm and stuff.
The bad news is, your great sword gains a name. It is Cassiel.
Okay.
It becomes a unique magic item.
Oh, now Mike can Bankai.
He can bonky.
And it gains, you said lashing currents, so it gains the lashing currents trait.
Be careful, Mike. The Jewish Nazis might come to try to steal your sword.
Oh no.
Yeah, and they're gonna use their Nazi powers to use it against you, and then you're just gonna get it back because you infect them with. Because you become infected with demon blood, so they become infected with demon blood.
So, as
You're
you can
going
see,
to insult me by calling me rich and
I'm gone in.
awful.
Your if you attune it, your great sword becomes Cassiel. And you can see it has the minor gift lifted on it. You can actually drag lashing currents to you whenever you want to use it as an action.
Okay.
It was already a +1 sword, so it doesn't really gain anything in that regard. But
Just have to level up a lot.
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Now, that being said, the way before you is now a little bit more firm. You have all, like I said, whatever this fight was, it happened centuries before you were born. You've
You don't know
lived.
when I was born.
I don't know. Well, you're a human, so. But you've lived
I look like a human.
You've lived a lifetime fearing the darkness. And now you're given an opportunity to maybe, just maybe, fight back somehow.
And now we know that the darkness is just a bunch of ugly losers.
I mean, I don't know. The hag was pretty hot.
You don't know what that dude looks like under the mask. He could be hot.
Oh, that is true.
Wait,
Unfortunately, he's a theater nerd, so it's all negated.
wait a second. Are you saying that
Nah, theater nerds fuck.
this isn't peak alpha male performance?
No, I don't think the fat guy is peak alpha male performance.
You say that, we probably plow the shit out of you until he got winded.
Yep.
I just need a break. Hold on.
If he leans on you, you might find yourself dead.
All right. Well, the Bookwyrm is grateful for your aid. Sastrim, who has many S's and many Z's, is downright giddy at the knowledge you've given him of the opportunity you've given him. You know, you don't have to fight him. You've won him over with mere words.
No, I fight him now.
Alright, well, he is outside of his room, so.
It's extra experience.
Yeah.
On the game exploit.
Yeah, I fight him now. The boss fight's over, but his model isn't left, so I can keep hitting him, and I can keep raising my weapon skill.
Excellent.
Alright. What would you like to do? You've basically cleared out the library.
I mean, I guess we go back, grab that shield,
Alright.
and then go home.
Oh. Probably not a bad idea. Like I said, you spent a long time because you've taken a lot of time in the library because you took time to rest. You took time to heal. You took time to like treat wounds and etc. as well as go back and backtrack. So you know, it's probably
we've been here for probably like 8 hours.
All right. They probably think you're dead. No, that's fine. You don't care about them anyways. They suck.
I care about them.
I don't care about them because they're dwarves.
I'll lean over towards the dragon. And I'll just ask, hey, what do you know about Tengu? And then I'm going to write everything that appears on his wing.
I mean, he's not excited by that question, so nothing really appears on him. But he is able to I says,
I tried.
he says,
Oh, when you
he
say
sort of
faggot, though, he really lights up.
but at this point, he's sort of friendly to you, so he says, well, what, is there anything in particular you'd like to know?
This dude loves gay birds.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have any. I don't have any specific reference to Tengu.
I mean, I'm from near the near the forest with the elves in it. What? Okay, are there others that live there? First off, and second, do you have any idea what's happened to the elves?
So it says, no mention of Tengu, but we do have mention of elves, as well as, he sort of looks up and down at you, animals with a voice, speaking animals, allies of Boudica, the forests that she called home.
Ah. Well, that's where she is.
That the elves called home.
Well, she's dead. I don't know if you watched the movie.
So yeah.
Oh, her rock is there.
But you do know there's something in the forest that's protecting it, so...
What if they got it mixed up and it's someone else's?
Oh, well, there's the problem.
She was...
Yeah, that's why it's not working anymore.
From what I read, she was a wild and free-spirited one that loved nature and animals. Reluctant to follow the path of a hero, but one she felt obligated to follow.
Yeah, they got their rocks mixed up, so it's someone else's. So it's like they got like an American electronic plugged into like a European socket.
Oh,
like this shit's just not working.
Wrong voltage.
Yeah, that's what this is just not working right.
She was able to. She was able to control both beast and plant alike.
They just got to put a little switch in the power supply.
And you could actually, I'll say, the freaking constellations have the relic aspects for them. So like, because I that was part of the information that was part of the constellations was their relic aspects. So Boudica is able. He's like, oh yes, Boudica. I remember. I've read about
Boudica.
her. She was a friend to both plant and animal alike, beast and plant alike. Reluctant to take up the call of a hero, but one she accepted.
I'm friends with a beast.
The Wild Hearts is friends to druids, rangers, and anyone that revels in the powers of nature with the aspects of beast and plant.
We should go there next. We help with the dwarves.
We should give that rock to my horse.
Oh no, the one
He's a beast.
Alright. Well, as you pass, at this point, by this time, night has passed.
Don't worry.
Daytime.
Mike can attempt to trip him from 10 feet away.
It's true.
It's true.
You just gotta pass his DC.
Unfortunately, as you pass through the door into the mountain pass, you hear the haunting squeal of the Wendigo as it is still patrolling the mountain tops above.
Does anyone have like some? Does anyone have like some Wendigon we can spray?
I mean, what do you mean? Does it have anything better to do? It's a Wendigo. No.
Huh. Unfortunately, I do not have any Wendigon. And I don't care to try out my new tripping thing on it. So
it won't work.
Won't work.
I don't think you can roll high enough.
Can roll it in that 20.
To be, yeah, you could crit it. You have a 5% chance.
I'm also not stealthy, so.
Well, then we better get running.
Yeah.
I mean, we can probably do a group stealth check, can't we?
You can follow the expert. If anyone's an expert in stealth.
Me. The expert. I've got, you know that meme of the kid with the shirt that says the expert? That's me. staring down this Wendigo.
All right. If you follow the expert, whenever you so I'm just gonna put you first and foremost. If people are trying to follow the expert, they gain the follow the expert bonus, which is +2 for expert. I can actually drag it to your character for everyone that's doing it.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I'm not gonna have a plus, really.
Yeah, I'll follow the leader.
I'm gonna just drag it on everyone, because fuck it. Still...
I mean, I don't have it, because I'm not following myself.
Well, you don't
You
have it,
should
but I'm just
follow your
dragging it to
own advice.
everyone, so...
Alright, we're about to fail this fucking check.
Oh yeah, like
Well, we are, because we literally can't pass it.
no.
It's very difficult to pass.
We
I
can't.
think if we all nat 20'd, we'd all fail except for maybe 2 people.
The DC is what I
No.
make it.
If he was using his actual DC, it's a DC like 47.
That's not true. It's a DC
It was
40.
a 42.
It's a DC 42. You're alright.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll.
But the point is, it is still stormy outside, and it is seemed to be distracted as patrolling around, letting out howls of terror.
Alright. Here goes nothing.
Wow, Bowie sucks.
I'm just gonna tab
Yeah,
out.
I have a
because
+4.
I'm just tabbing out because I succeeded.
Fuck you,
I
Bowie.
already know. I don't even need to look.
Oh,
Like I told you, it was bad.
Perfectly balanced, a crit and a critical failure.
Wow, I
That can't-
rolled a 1. That's not.
That cancels.
it meant to be secret, right?
Yeah, but that's, you know, I get the idea.
He revealed mine anyways.
Alright.
So it all comes down to Kip.
Kip Shearer, what are you gonna roll?
I already did.
What are you gonna roll, Kip Shearer? An 8? You suck. I hate you.
Oh my god, seriously?
I mean, yeah, it's an 8.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
you make your way
That's
about
+5.
halfway down the path before...
Do you guys remember in Pokemon the movie 2000 when they were talking to Slow King, and Slow King realized that when the prophecy said that the world would turn to ash, it wasn't talking about how the world was gonna end, but it talked about Ash
Alright.
Ketchum?
Yes.
The Wendigo
Like
is
9-year-old me was like,
scrambling,
holy shit, when that happened.
scrambling along the mountains. It's no there. As you sort of tentatively and carefully try to pass through, oh boy, does it notice you from its on top as it lets out a terrible
It's a
howl.
whole nother mountain.
Hey, I crit. It doesn't detect me.
It
It
still does.
I
That
point
would
Zelda out and say, "Get her!"
I think it's the rest of us going clang, clang, clang.
basically, everyone going clang, clang, clang is gonna make it go howl.
That's how you crit. It can't hear your footsteps over Bully.
Well, it's a DC 38 will save for everyone.
You get a +1 for being in my banner.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I can only get a maximum fear of 1. Where will save?
Will save. Let's go.
Wait, I get a status effect. Boom.
That's a crit failure. It doesn't have to be private.
Oh,
I'm
whatever.
used to it at this point.
Doesn't have to be failure. It doesn't have to be private. That being said, we got some pretty good
Colin.
saves, actually.
Colin, just reveal ours.
I mean, Booley did great. You know,
I hope so. I have +12.
everybody else, you know,
God.
not so much.
Max got 27.
That's still a critical failure
Yeah.
because it's a DC 38. But
Yeah,
Oh.
Rick only got a regular failure.
you only got a regular failure. The point is, everyone is fucking terrified by this fucking thing and fleeing as it begins scrambling down the mountain.
We didn't actually need to roll to find out that we were scared of it.
I mean, that's true. Although
No,
you had
we didn't.
you had to roll to find out how scared you were of it.
I don't need to roll for that either. Very.
Extremely.
And none of that. If you're fleeing, you literally have to use your actions to move away from it. That being said, I think most of you are pretty fucking scared as it is scrambling down the mountain.
That sucks for the dwarves that can't move you extra times.
All right. This is essentially more. This is less a combat, more of a chase.
I have a 25 move speed. I'm fine.
So.
Yeah, that's just got a fucking 90, dog.
I mean, you also only have a 25.
No, I have a 30.
Where is the move speed?
My bad.
Go ahead and roll initiative, so I've got a general idea of where you're going for who's
Oh,
going
God,
first
I
in the
have 20.
chase.
Do we get no.
Oh my god, I have not rolled over a 10.
Neither have I.
Well, I'm fucking dead.
I only have a move speed of 20. Okay.
Yay! Mike's dead, and then I die.
I am fucked.
All right. Galen, the Wendigo is scrambling down the mountain to you. You are frightened 3 and fleeing.
All right. Well, I run.
All right. So
I have a 30 movement speed.
At the very least, you have to move away from the Wendigo. However, you have to spend 1 action moving away from the Wendigo. If you want to spend 2 other actions doing anything, you can. Otherwise, you can actually just run.
No, I mean, I know I can't fight that thing. I just run.
All right. Got 3 movement actions. All right, you got plenty of speed.
Yeah, I can move 90.
All right.
I got fleet too.
Oh shit! I can roll. I can roll for the Wendigo.
Oh, the Wendigo already went. So.
Wow.
That was its turn. It was to howl. Kip Shearer.
Are we going down?
Yes.
Yes.
Direction? Alright, Kip. Let's see, is there anything that I have that could make me go faster?
Mike, you could just use 3 actions to move 60 feet.
I forgot. I forgot. Galen, give me a d20 roll. That was supposed to be part of your turn. I was supposed to see if there were any complications that arose during your retreat. Hold on, I'll just roll it. No complications. All right, Booley. Let me roll to see if there's any
got 16.
complication. All right.
I got 16.
No complications.
Move here. I'm not gonna let Kip. I'm not gonna let Kip get killed.
All
over
right.
my dead body.
He will be killed over your dead body.
Belden,
He
give me
will.
a d20 roll to see if there's any complications. No complications.
I'm also no longer feared, right, Colin? Because I was only frightened 1.
The Wendigo's howl cannot be reduced below frightened 1.
Oh, okay.
And move. That's 1 action, and then I use an action. Form up. Everybody move. Everyone in my
Okay.
banner move.
I move
Ooh, that's me.
down.
Probably
Do we
smart.
have to end? Do we
You have to
we
you
all-
have to
do we
move.
end in it?
You have to
Yes.
move inside the thing, so everyone
Okay.
could move like.
This is as far as I could move and hit them all.
Okay. No,
Literally-
I was making sure that Mike couldn't make it to the exit.
1, 2.
It's literally an
3.
extra 50% of my move speed, so, I'll take it.
And then that's my 3 actions.
All right, it goes to Selja.
I mean, I just. Well, can I not?
Roll a d20.
Oh yeah, d20 for any complications. All right,
Landslide.
no complications.
So 25. And then.
I really hope you can make it there in 3 actions.
I can make it to here in 2.
And then you have 1 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Do I want to do anything else?
No, we're in a chase. We're leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I
It-
just get
Yeah, it's
I
more,
go in, I guess.
it's kind of more like a cutscene in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, d20. Any complications for the Wendigo? Nope.
He steps on his balls.
Does have to scramble
He
down.
glued his balls to his butthole again.
Oof.
Oh, we're fucked.
Yeah, we would be fucked if he glued his balls to his butthole.
No, he's.
You
I'm
you
fucked
know
if
he
anything.
pissed.
Right. Wendigo gonna give you the good charge. It's gonna use 2 actions to move.
Oh. Oh dear.
That fat damage. It did have to use 2 actions though. Oh, it's gonna be a 45 versus Booley.
That's a crit.
Alright.
I'm glad I leveled up.
Alright, you take 36 points of damage.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
That is...
You know he's got to have a fucking reaction strike, though.
That
but
being
do
said,
I go before him, I think.
it was all of his... That was all of the Wendigo's turn was 2 actions to move, 1 action to claw. As it goes to Galen, you can just run off the board. You're at the edge.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright, you get off the board. You're fine.
I had 20 movement speed. I'd also be off the board.
Alright, I'm just going through order. You have the opportunity to move before he even gets to you. He even goes again, so. Kip Shearer.
Reactions in this game.
Yep.
If a creature is next to you and they are forced, like pushed or pulled, does it still trigger?
No.
a...
Forced movement
Well-
doesn't trigger reactions.
I can also just step and then. Move.
So your
Oh,
reaction,
right.
yeah, your reaction triggers things based on the traits it has. If it has move,
Okay.
so being pushed doesn't have the move trait. So
if you have a way to get yourself
Yeah,
safe, then I'll just
You
run.
can step.
Yeah, I can just step.
all right, you run. Yeah, you sprint into the tunnel, away from the Wendigo. Fair enough. All right, Booley.
All right. I step,
Not a bad idea.
and then in case he has a 10-foot reaction speed, I'm gonna step again. and
Again,
then
not a
move
bad
25
idea.
Off the board.
All right. Belden.
My turn.
Yep.
I'm gonna step. I can't move.
There you go.
I'm gonna take a shot at him as I'm leaving.
All right.
Piss it off. That's a good idea.
You can't
Yeah.
piss it off. It's already pissed off.
I'll make it so you can target him.
T. And roll.
An unfortunate critical miss. But you do
Alright, now
duck away, running
Now I
down
leave.
the tunnel away from him as he howls. Once again, the howl of the Wendigo is squee-you. Now you're filled with it. You are the Wendigo.
Oh no, I'm a Wendigo.
You're the Wendigo.
Oh shit.
You can
I attacked
hear it
Max.
chase after you, but once you duck into the tunnel, it has trouble getting into it, as you're able to descend back down to the actual library proper itself, away from this wing, away from the actual sort of bookworm. You're able to go to the library.
Max, would you hang out with me if I was a Wendigo?
Probably not. I get eaten.
When did no?
You, Max, you wouldn't have the option. I would have already eaten you.
It's true.
Exactly.
You'd be hanging out with me in my belly.
All right. You safely return back through the back of the statue into the library proper itself. The very place where you captured all those little script fuckers. Do you have any plans for anything else, or you just want to return back to Cairn Maldor?
Well, I'm going to cast a third level heal on all of us because I have 3 HP in case we encounter anything outside of this.
Down on the floor, because not only have I encountered the Wendigo alone, I was also negotiating with a dragon that could kill me.
Probably
one attack.
Probably a good idea to use those spells because you got the shit beat out of you.
I just laid down on the floor for a second. I think about my life choices.
Where'd my fucking heal go? What?
Rick about to hit us with that 2 health. 2 ones on those.
Colin, how do I click it? How do I make it be level 3rd? Do I have to target everybody?
What are you doing?
How do I use a spell at the heal at 3rd level?
If it's in your spell crafting for the divine font, it's automatically leveled up. Because it's
no, but how do I use a 3-action heal to heal everybody?
I mean, you hit the heal 3, where it's in the chat. You can hit the heal 3 actions.
Heal.
And then obviously you're not to since everyone can gather around, you can just roll the healing. You don't have to place like an emanation or anything.
We all heal for 4.
You all heal for 4.
Better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
There he is.
Alright. You make your way back into it as you can hear the sound of the Wendigo.
I think with that 4 extra health, I could take that Wendigo.
Alright, turn around and go fight it.
I will. I do.
Alright. Away from the Wendigo, your fear actually is able to dissipate slowly.
No, I'm just afraid of that now.
You're always afraid.
I'm always feared one of Wendigos now.
I don't blame you.
That being said, within the actual...
What if, like, Wendigos figure out how to, like, ride a bike? Like, how are you supposed to get away from them?
Wendigos have awkward feet, so they're really... The thing is, they can ride a bike, but they feel awkward about being said they have awkward feet when they're riding bikes, so you can really shame them.
Colin, I gotta pick up the...
That's their weakness.
I gotta pick up my shield.
Alright. This is a special shield called Trude's Bulwark. It is a heavy shield. It's made of... it's completely made of metal. But
so.
It is not a tower shield, it is a fortress shield. It does have... it is made of true silver, so its bulk is not as high as it could be. But, that being said, it's still really fucking heavy.
Yeah, I picked up Hefty Holler, we're good.
Alright, so... Trude's Bulwark is a unique shield.
I give Ryan back his shield.
Alright, you can take your steel shield back, and you get Trude's Bulwark, the fortress shield. Except, hold on, that's not the right weight, it's 4 weight, I believe. Yep.
I'm still fine.
It is a big heavy shield. That being said, it's a beautiful shield. Masterwork crafted of basically silver steel. So it's 1 bulk lighter than it would normally be.
That shield weighs almost as much as everything else you have on you put together.
It's true.
That being said, it does come with a sturdy rune on it, so you get a big old boost in shield HP as well as shield hardness. And you know, it gives you +3 armored class instead of +2 when you raise it, and people can take cover behind it whenever you've got it raised.
That's why all the dwarves are always saying, get in hard for true.
And because you're a dwarf, you don't have to worry about your speed penalties. A wonderfully dwarven shield. Beautifully inlaid with the symbol of Trude on it.
Does Bully ever get hard for Trude?
Probably. They love Trude. I mean, true that. Am I right?
Tell me where in the anathemas it says I can't get a boner for my god.
Alright. Well,
Where in the Bible does it say that Jesus can't give me wood?
after retrieving the fortress shield of Casca Trude's daughter, Trude's bulwark, potential founder of your order, hero against the darkness from a previous time, you make your way back down. After having spent time in the library, you spent quite a while in the library, you make your way back down to Cairn Maldor itself.
Are the people who believe that lady was the founder of their order called Truders?
Yeah. True believers. And you find the city itself in chaos.
In Chow's, oh no.
Small fires burn around the building itself. As
you didn't ask your dad not to rebel.
You didn't ask your dad not to rebel. As it seems that your father has taken this time to lead his group.
Wow, he has a really advanced timetable for his revolutions.
Bro,
A small...
This dude goes from the planning stage to action in like a day.
A relatively small group, but still a concentrated group of miners, craftsmen.
Man, they got children fighting?
Yeah,
Jesus
young
Christ.
children, miners, craftsmen, some merchants, trying to storm
sexy
the
miners?
actual storm across to the Jarl's sort of palace. As you can see, the sounds of fighting echo throughout the cavern of Cairn Maldor, as there is a revolution underway. I mean, you didn't tell your father not to go, so he went.
You didn't tell us your father was an idiot.
You only knew he was
We don't-
planning he was part of a revolution
We
that
don't
was
know
planned.
Rick's dad. Only Rick knows
We
that.
don't. He didn't tell anyone.
It could be the crazy guy. It's time to go is now.
yeah, he also didn't help.
He also did not help.
I also didn't think he would do it in the day I
That's-
was gone.
That's what I'm saying. This dude went from planning to action and
Look,
the violent revolution in a day.
you're
You know, maybe it was.
I
because-
just saw
it's been several hours, and you're playing part of a tabletop role playing game. Something's got to happen in those hours.
Look. What's happened is that we left, and his dad knew that he was back in town. Might know that we went to the Jarl, and now we're gone. We're disappeared. And he got mad and said, "We're going now."
Yeah, where's my boy at?
I guess I'm gonna go talk to my dad.
Hey, Dad, you're a war criminal now.
He needs to fucking stop.
I
Alright.
think we've hit a point of no return.
I do too. Yeah.
If he
like,
surrenders, though, it'll stop.
I think,
only he will be executed along.
You
with all
make
of
your
his
way
followers.
down. Like I said, perhaps luckily, the entrance to the Jarl's library is indeed on the wall that exits out onto the Jarl's particular area, into the Jarl's palace. So you are behind, essentially, the Jarl's lines whenever you emerge to see them fighting a small but concentrated force of revolutionaries, people that want to rise up against the corrupt system of the Stonebrow family, which really the Jarl is just a naive, obese child that's like, I want to do my best, but I sure don't know what to do, that sort of thing. So it's complicated. Bully, your father and his people haven't been treated right, but she doesn't really know any better. And she seems like she wants to do well. As you rush down, and find the palace guards, a bunch of dwarves in a shield wall formation. Perhaps, luckily, the entrance to the fortress itself is protected by a gate, and they're fighting in the gatehouse. As you can see, there is your father there. There's a bunch of miners there that are fighting. You can hear the din of hammers and mining pick slap against shield, and the shout of the cries of battle.
I shoot a shot at Rick's dad because he's using child soldiers, and that's fucked up.
Alright. Well, he only had 1 hit point, so he dies. Congratulations.
I've done it. I've saved the city
Colin, I just walk up to my dad.
through the.
He
through-
claps.
through all
Alright.
of them fighting.
The-
Casual-
got a loud
pardon me.
voice?
Excuse me.
Several of the guards turn and they sort of try to stop you. Say, "Who are you? You're not one of the guards. I don't recognize you. I know every guard. I met them
I know
all."
every
I'm
dwarf
in
in
the
this.
library to help the Jarl. I'm gonna stop this. Just let me through.
Kip's gonna say, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" And I'm gonna point to one of the guards on the other side of the melee.
His name is Carrie. Carrie Steadfast.
Carry these nuts home.
As he looks at him, and the guy just sort of shakes his head. "I don't know his name. Look, alright? Who are you? You're not a dwarf. You're like a bird person."
While he's talking to him, I just keep going.
That works as he's busy talking to Kip. The Jarl doesn't like bird people like you.
The Jarl thought I was cute.
The Jarl called you a Carolina chickadee.
Oh. Oh.
I shake my head because these battle lines aren't very effective if we could just casually scroll through them.
He said it's only a few people.
The Jarl told me that you suck and your plumage
only a
is
few
not
people,
very
then these guards-
vibrant. What do you
If
think
it's only a
about
few
that?
people, then these guards suck.
Yeah, he says it's a small group of.
It's not an all-out war, but there's a concerted effort of a small group of maybe 40 to 50 miners.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up to my dad.
All right, it looks like they're doing a pretty good job fighting.
Colin, when I get into melee, I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
All right, you roll an attack,
Alright,
an armed attack.
I see Rick attacking the rebels, so I just start shooting into the crowd.
Oh
my
no.
God.
Yeah, he still hasn't told us anything.
I
just
don't
said I'm
know.
gonna put a stop. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, you said you're gonna put a stop to it, then you started fighting the rebels, so now I'm shooting into the crowd. I get on my horse and I trample them.
The communication has been poor.
Well, I don't hit him.
You don't hit him. Even a 12 doesn't hit him. He is unarmored, but you mostly just hit him in the face and your hand hurts. But he is able to sort of collect himself.
Rick sucks too.
He says,
And then
"The fuck are you doing, son?
And then I bellow, all of you stop.
This is the revolution, lad. It's what we've been waiting half our lives for."
It's not. It's just you making it worse.
How is it making it worse? We've been stamped on and trod on and treated like shit for the past 40 years.
Because now you're a war criminal, and I'm actually trying to help, and you're making it.
I'm not a war criminal. I'm a revolutionary.
He's not a war criminal. As far as we know, he hasn't violated the Geneva Convention yet.
I was about to say, I'm not sure that kind of thing exists in this world, even.
You're assaulting.
Unless he's committed acts of terrorism.
They handed out the Geneva questionnaire, and I checked not interested in every box.
He's throwing a revolutionary assault. I'm pretty sure that would be an act of terrorism.
All right.
No, not necessarily.
Treason, then.
Yeah, you're committing treason.
Yeah,
You're making it worse.
Treason is against the Geneva Convention.
For too long, this Jarl has treated us as an underclass, people to be trod on, people to be exploited, and then, whenever we actually needed protection, she sends her guards out to keep an eye on the travelers and the tradesmen of the city, without nary a fucking eye on us, the people at the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, and she's stupid and was unaware of all of that. I was talking to her and it was going to be fixed, but instead you did this while I was gone for like a day.
Revolution waits for no man.
I mean, you also didn't tell him about that, so.
He also did not tell him about that, so.
I didn't have time.
Well, how was he supposed to know?
I'm telling him now.
Well, I didn't.
Motherfucker.
I didn't fucking know. We're already fucking fighting.
Just stop.
What? Stop.
This whole situation is Boolie's fault.
Okay, it's not. Because they started playing Revolution while I wasn't. And then we had to go.
No, I blame that dude in Duragar phase. That dude's a fucking creep.
Yeah, he certainly didn't help.
I mean, it's true.
Where is that guy? I start looking for him.
He's out there. You don't see him because he's in Duergar face.
I'm gonna shoot his ass.
He's in Duergar face, hiding in like a trash can.
Uncle Stonebrow is there, but if you want to roll a perception check, you can.
I will. I'm looking for his ass.
He's got pretty good stealth because he's in Duergar face.
Nope,
you
I
don't
can't
see
roll above a 10.
Alright, unfortunately, you don't see Uncle Stonebrow. That being said, Bully, give a diplomacy check. You could have a +4 because you are his son, so... Poor Rick. He's been thrust into the charisma role.
Well, you know, Rick should have been a better anti-revolutionary.
Did it add the +4, Colin?
I did not, but I can see what it is, so...
Okay. I thought I put it there as an ad. I don't know why. I figured it would do it.
He says... He looks at you, and he looks at the group behind you as well as the guards, and he says... Ah! We'll stow our weapons, but we want to have words with the Jarl!
I don't really think you're in a position to bargain right now.
I mean, they might have been winning the fight beforehand.
I mean, they weren't doing too bad.
I pipe up and I say, I think you will get to have your words with the Jarl, just not right now.
Rick is a class traitor.
Alright. Alright, Amal, roll a diplomacy check as well.
Boy, howdy.
Darn.
You don't want me doing that, but okay.
I mean, hey, I don't, you know, you're trying to convince them, so. They seem kinda convinced. But then there's like, I want to have...
a -4, buddy.
I want to have words with the Jarl.
Oh, I think I'm still feared.
Oh yeah, you didn't take off the fear, so.
I didn't know I...
I can just add 3 to it, because They sort of... the fighting sort of dies down as your father sort of says in a huff. Fine, fine! But this fight isn't over.
No, stay right here. Don't just launch an assault and walk away from them. That will not end well.
I mean, this wasn't a very good assault. You were able to just casually walk up to him in the middle of it.
Yeah, they aren't very organized or very well equipped.
It's pretty chaotic. Fine. Just 'cause you're my son. If it were anyone else, I'd tell you to fuck off. And if you were my daughter, I'd tell you to fuck off too.
It's
I punch him again. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You punch him, so I thought I had a son, but you hit like my daughter.
I wasn't trying to kill you.
Get fucked.
First of all, Rick, I don't think you'd kill him with a single punch to the
but
face.
he sort of...
You're vastly overestimated your strength.
Put your arms down! We'll hear what the Jarl has to say.
But it was like, you're lucky I didn't use my super death punch on you, okay?
That's not what I mean. I mean, I wasn't trying to, like, murder him.
So have the guards stopped?
They've at least lowered their weapons as the fighting has died down.
They're stabbing.
Or are they all arguing with me? What's going on here?
My bow.
And
they're still trying to figure out that guy's name.
They're still trying to figure out what's going on, but they now that the fighting has died down, they sort of take a step back. They do form a defensive line, but the miners themselves aren't pushing either. So
also, where's what's his nuts? I literally told him I was gonna go talk to the Jarl.
Who's what's his nuts?
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking
Stonebrow.
for him.
Where is Uncle Stonebrow? I literally said I'm gonna go talk to the Jarl.
I'm looking for him to shoot his ass.
All right, you don't see him anywhere, but he does pop out behind you in Duergar face. I
shoot him.
I could have killed you if I wanted to.
Same.
Christ Almighty! Why can I not? Does a 15 hit him, Colin?
No.
Why can I not roll over a 10?
All right.
Why
Well,
didn't you tell
well,
him
na-
I was gonna
an arrow
talk
fly,
to Jarl?
an arrow flies out, and the fighting starts again.
Good.
I hope that's a joke.
No, there's a couple of swings, but it only ends in a couple of bruised punches to the face.
No, but I asked him, why didn't you tell him I was gonna go talk to the Jarl? We talked about it. I
Cause
told you.
Cuz I don't want to have the miners cast down. The Jarl is a fool. She's young.
I agree with you, but I can't negotiate with her if you guys
Rick's,
are welcoming
Rick's
a
talking a
counter
lot of
argument.
shit about this lady in her house in front of all of her people.
I didn't say that. He said that she's an idiot.
You said I agree with you.
No, yeah, I agree with him that he doesn't want the miners put down.
She's
That's what he
young.
said.
She's dumb. She's full of heavy cream. We need a better
Yes,
leader.
She is.
Oh, I wish I was full of heavy
She's
cream.
young and naive
I mean,
and unaware of the situation.
Heavy breathing.
well, we can go to the store. We can get you a fuck ton of heavy cream.
Can I do some?
It's time for a new.
I don't know about a fuck ton. It's expensive now. It's just
Does
like
this
$5
guy
a carton.
seem like
Time for new leadership
A
in this
carton of
city.
heavy cream. If you were to just drink that, is a fuck ton of heavy cream.
Right.
Sir.
He nodded and said, "Were I to rise to the throne, to the level of Jarl, I would see the miners taken care of."
Does this guy seem like he's actually been fomenting this the whole time?
Yes, because he's crazy.
Yes and no. Yes
I mean,
and no.
he's kind of a
They-
crazy person, but
They are dejected, but he's also making it worse.
he's also making it worse.
Oh my god.
He is a distant. He is a cousin of the Stonebrow family. So technically in line to a sense, but
Alright.
He has quite a few murders to do before he actually gets it. Though.
That's
Tell me what
true.
this do when we go talk to the Jarl, because he. Oh my god.
fine. I will come with you to speak with the Jarl. But I
You ever
want.
spoken to the Jarl?
It has been some time since my family has been
So no.
separated from hers. I've not spoken with her in particular,
Ever?
but her father, I knew.
Uh-huh.
He
She's not
would,
her father, though.
but even so,
Might be.
she will
What
not
if she's her own dad?
answer the demands, my demands.
Well, have you ever considered presenting the things you want as anything other than a demand?
I presented the things I want, more pigeon cages for messenger birds, but they refused.
Did you give them a reason that you needed them? Or did you just walk in
For
and
more
go,
messages.
"More pigeon cages"?
He sort of looks at you as if you're crazy. The implication should be obvious. I want more pigeon cages for my messenger birds.
Well, if you don't say it to a child,
Pigeon cages serve a dual purpose. They can be used for both messenger pigeons as well as canaries for the coal mines.
okay, and what does she know about mining?
I don't know. She seems young.
Have you ever
stupid.
considered that maybe that's supposed to be your role?
He sort of looks at you and says, "Well, no."
I look at Booley and I just motion.
If
at
you
him.
needed more cages, why didn't you just ask a dwarf to make a cage?
Because there are permits.
Yeah, you
Oh,
go to
There's
you go to the
bureaucracy
cage.
in his way.
You go to the cage store and you just
Wait.
purchase more cages.
Is there actually a permit on to get pigeon cages?
No.
Okay, it's you're full of shit.
He's just
though, Sean.
he's just a crazy person.
Like I said, he's coming with us when we go talk to the Jarl.
He nods his head, but he tries to make it like it's his idea. It's like, I'm going to come with you so I can negotiate with the Jarl.
Sure, whatever you say. Whatever your fucking nuts says. It's R with an R. I can't remember what his name was.
Retarded. His name is
I mean, yeah,
Roderick.
Roderick, yeah. I knew it started with an R. Oh my god.
It's
Okay.
gonna be a shame when all these miners are hanged for treason.
I really hope they're not.
Jarl
Oh, I mean-
Stonebrow is safely.
And that's how you end up with more treason.
safely sequestered. The threat to her life was relatively actually not that significant.
She ever not sequestered?
She's surrounded by bread.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, the threat to her life is ever present with how much she weighs.
That's not nice.
But
no,
true.
a dwarf can take a lot of heavy cream before they get a heart attack.
I really wish I had like a NPC talking screen where I could click on like pictures, and so when people talk, their picture would come up.
That would be kind of cool. Is there not an add-on for that?
There probably is somewhere. There's probably a mod somewhere. But she is relatively safely sequestered. The threat to the palace itself was, I mean, it was not insignificant, but she had quite a few guards. And so whenever they lead you to her, she's not unaware, but as she was in regards to like whenever you told her about there's a problem with the miners, she seems as if she's been left in the dark. She wants to help, but she's, perhaps due to her youth, perhaps due to her family and her lineage, she's kind of been left out without the knowledge. So she almost seems like surprised whenever you come in with a bunch of people. But also quite happy to see you. Once again, she seems really excited just to have company. She's, like I said, she's very isolated.
Kip is not buying it.
I mean, not buying what? That she's isolated?
That she's excited.
All this excitement to see me, and she called me a fucking Carolina shitkadee.
She didn't call you that. The guard did.
She didn't call you that, you dingus.
I know.
She seemed...
I mean, maybe she did, but she likes Carolina shitkadees.
What if she calls you what if she calls you a Carolina sexkadee?
Ooh.
But she seems, once again, she seems pretty happy to have like visitors. Can I get you something to eat?
I mean, I'm good right now, but thank you.
Oh no, you look starved to me.
You know,
there'll be time to eat after this.
She, like I said, once again, is almost completely oblivious to the fact that there was a fight outside her gates. She says,
"Have you looked outside in the last 5 minutes?"
I think that maybe some drinks are in order. It'll calm everybody down.
Oh, I love drinks.
I think drinking is not.
Yeah,
I
don't think we want to put drinks into this right now.
Fair.
She is, like I said, she's young, but she's incredibly isolated. So she's like, shots.
Hell yeah.
She's like, you ever scissored with a fat chick?
I mean, probably.
Hell yeah.
Colin, you want to do this all right now? It's after midnight.
No, I want to get it all done right now. I want to get moving on to the next thing. So you can make it, so I can plan for next week. So you can be moving on to where you're going. Essentially, I can know where you're going. But we
look at her.
We can sort of briefly move through. You know what's going on. You know,
I look at her and I go, Colin, what is her title? Like, what do we?
She's Jarl. She's just Jarl.
I go, Lady Jarl, my
Jarla.
It pains me to say this, but my father, who I told you about, is upset that the state the miners are in decided to lead a revolt.
You've neglected us! When this city was dying, when people were mysteriously despairing, you sent your guards to the trade district and left us poor miners to fucking die in the shadows.
Your dad was the leader of it.
Yeah. First off, you should blame her cousin. Not
I'm getting there.
Colin
interrupted me.
I'm just start off with my dad.
No, your dad interrupted you. He says you left us to die in the shadows.
All that was you talking, though.
Yeah.
You interrupted it.
Yeah.
To which I said, I go, however, it's because your cousin over here, Roderick Stonebrow, was manipulating my family and the miners so that he could remove you from the throne and take over.
Roderick, was that the case?
He's gonna lie to you as the case.
I would
I
never.
have witnesses.
Your guards were there.
Yeah.
She shakes her head and she says, regardless of Roderick's intent, as she sort of glares at him, I must make my intent crystal clear. It is ever my desire to provide as much service as I can to the people of this city. She looks at you and she sort of nods her head. You can see her 3 chins jiggle as she nods her head. My father
Yes.
was an absent man, one whose eyes ever turned towards increasing profits and money. What boons could be gained from the mine? He worked the miners hard in the hopes of increasing our worth, of securing our power, of one day regaining control of that which was taken of us. My father ever dreamt of retaking Hold Hickham, but it was like a curse, an obsession. He died with that on his mind, but I don't have such lofty goals. To me, the title of Jarl is not a laurel. It's not a
Jarl.
It's not a laurel, it's not a cape. It's a solemn duty. It is a burden. One that my family is willing to uphold. One that we will not pass on to lesser members of this family, those that would scheme in the darkness and the shadows, Roderick. You have elucidated a lot for me, Bully. All of you have. I've spent so much of my life in this palace, beneath the watchful eyes of the guards. I only wish I had known better, been less foolish, had been more willing to reach out to others. And she looks to your father and she says, "You have my sincerest apologies. I will endeavor to see that you and yours are taken care of, that there are guards in the lowest parts of the lowest city. But more importantly, we will find this shadow that haunts Cairn Maldor. This darkness that holds the region in check. Whatever means I can offer you, it is offered." She sort of looks around all of you. It's all I can do. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a cleric. I'm not a learned woman. But she sort of holds out her big old fat pudgy hands. She says, "What is mine to offer you? I offer you. In friendship and in aid."
Well, to start, I think you need to offer Roderick a jail cell.
I believe that sedition is worthy of a jail cell. Wouldn't you agree, guards? Yes, they remind you of the sorcerer hand. She's a big old. She's kind of a fatty.
Well, more like, you know.
No, she's not the sorcerer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She's not the sorcerer. She's just fat. Guards!
I've had a twist before.
Like cheesecake.
Take him away, but see that he's treated equitably. We have too few family members and too few dwarves.
You guys ever seen the meme about cheesecake? That big fat ass kid
I will show him the error of his ways, so that he might know that I am the correct choice for Jarl.
Okay. Who is next in line after him to look after the mining district, the lower district? Like, where does that responsibility fall?
Me, I stab him.
She sort of says, I don't know. I've not had a child. I've not even lain with a man before.
Hey, well, you didn't need to tell us that. It's a little TMI.
Well, no, that's not. Yeah, but wouldn't call it?
I mean, the next in line is him.
It's family-based succession, correct?
I suppose it would be if Roderick has any offspring.
That's what I was asking. Does he have any offspring?
He does not.
Well, what's his nearest kin?
Her.
Her?
What's her nearest kin on the other side, then?
She's the only one, I think.
She doesn't know.
Oh my god.
I would have to look through the family records.
Well.
Oh, at this point, she said, of course, I could lay with a dwarf man, and she's eyes blue like.
Is she actually eyeing me?
No.
Okay. I'm about to say this is.
No, I got. Selja has dibs.
I mean, I would offer, but I have to leave, so I can't do it.
What? You can't stay for one night? Put the bun in this oven?
I meant to look over the district. I can stay one night to put a bun in the oven. I can't stay to
This
watch over the
motherfucker.
district.
This motherfucker walks into the palace, sees a bunch of people fighting. He's like, "All right, everyone, listen to me now.
What,
We're
you-
solving this."
What, you don't-
walks in there, he's like, "All right, Queen, I don't got time to fucking knock you up now. So
You
we
know
need to
what?
get this sorted
She says,
out."
what you want? What you mean? I'm too fat for you to snatch this snatch? As
Oh
she
my
sort of
God.
snaps. But she says, I mean, she doesn't know who would be next in line.
Well, I'm just saying, 'cause you gotta make sure they're not fucking crazy. Like him.
Is there anybody, like, rich looking in the room aside from her?
Me?
Not
really. However, that being said, you know, Bull, your father was still a leader. He's been talked down from a revolution to.
Yeah, but he was also manipulated
also
for
an idiot.
years by a crazy man.
That's true, but now he can be manipulated by a not so crazy woman.
Look, why don't you just pick...
She says, I would have...
Well, okay.
She says...
He was able to organize them all and get them under... So yeah, I suppose it's not the worst idea.
I would pass it on to someone who's older, and wise, and one who's able to bridge the gap between both the tradesmen, the poor, the rich, miners, someone who works, who has at least a foot, or at least a finger in all sides.
Selja's dead.
Yeah, perhaps the Cathcart family.
Yeah.
Your grandfather is...
I think that's a terrible choice.
Why?
My
Is Selja's
gran-
grandfather?
My grandfather kind of just like hangs out.
He's a
so-
he's a nice guy. He provides barrels for both the jarl and the poor. You know, he's a tradesman. He's not a miner, sure, but he provides,
Well-
like I said.
Well, yeah, I know he's a old dude, so we know he's not a minor.
All right, no, see that doesn't make. It should probably be some sort of council you could put. Is there a way you can make it
Democracy's not invented yet.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
could
it could be
easily
the
just be
town
he
council.
watches over and affiliates it, but it's mostly run by your father.
No, I don't think that. No, because they need to communicate and get back to her, and it'd probably be better if there was a group that could do it.
Advisors.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you'd have to assemble a.
They could at least do it for right now.
One from each
Why
district.
don't you assign them...
Duly
Yeah.
elected by that district.
That'll work. That's probably the best way to handle it.
Alright. An advisory council, duly elected, one from each district, alongside the captain of the guard, essentially. So there'd be the guard captain as well as the duly elected officials. Something that will take time to assemble, but will Hopefully.
What about right now?
For now.
I mean, there's no good way to do it right now, so whatever. I guess she can just be in charge.
For now, I will do what I think is right. I will try to treat everyone fairly. I'll see that the lower districts, the Galena districts, have guards, so that whatever is happening in this city might have defense against it, and I will see that someone in this city is hopefully going to do something about that.
Is she looking at us?
Yes.
Where's do you have a city gem?
Like a gym? Like with
She does not know where the nearest Planet Fitness is, Mike.
She also has she also would have.
Like, I assume it would be important to the family, like an heirloom of some sort.
I don't think she's the one we should talk to about that. We should probably go to the leader of my order because they're related to Trude's daughter.
Okay.
They probably know.
Yeah, she's like, there was said to be an heirloom that was supposed to be buried away in the mountain, but that was a old wives' tale.
As part of the shield, correct?
Potentially, it could be the shield. It could be whatever was in the chest that Holthucum stole.
Has nobody noticed that he's carrying that shield?
They don't know. It's been hundreds of years.
They don't know what that shield is. She doesn't know what that shield is. It's just a nice shield.
Well, that's convenient for us.
Well, they legit haven't been past that initial part where the other librarians are.
Also, she's not a descendant of the Trude's daughters.
And she's not a part of the Order of Trude, so she's just the Jarl. So it's like, that's a really nice shield. It doesn't mean anything to me.
She can tell it's dwarven made.
It's like, it's pretty. Does anybody have any cheeseburgers?
No, I'm sorry, we don't have any cheeseburgers.
I've never even heard of what that is. But no, she it's gonna take some time to get something up on her, but she at least has seen or been illuminated to the error of her ways. As she says, like, oh my god, you're right. I need to be taking care of the poor people of this district. You know?
Well, some of it's on Roderick just not telling her.
I mean, Roderick is he's
a lot of it's on Roderick for just not saying to her on purpose.
Some of it is on you for thinking that the crazy dude was gonna work in your best interest.
I mean, yeah, that's. But the point is, Roderick's not necessarily the worst guy in the world, but you know.
I don't know. He seems like
I mean, the Stonebrow family has not been good to lower classes over the past century or so. It just so happens you're arising at the point of a new, young, perhaps optimistic and idealistic young Jarl that's like, alright, you know what, we can help the poor, instead of being like, fuck it, fuck the poor, you know. A chance to influence the future, but one that you may have to, we might have to worry about later, because it is getting late. The real...
Colin, we still have to do shopping and stuff next week, so I gotta get my armor and stuff.
Yeah, the real question I have is, you know now sort of what you're looking for, the idea that there are crystals in this world that are protecting regions. You've already ran across one, which was the water relic seed in the lighthouse, and you've learned about a couple of others that are at least protecting this local region. You know there's one in the forest. You're pretty sure there's one in the mountain region, and there is also probably one in Hold Heckham that was stolen. And so you kind of have to determine, are you going deeper into the mountains? Are you trying to head to Hold Heckham? Are you going into the forest? I will remind you, the forest is also where Selja's brother is potentially being held, with the hag that you encountered. Or are you heading somewhere else?
Nah, his ass is dead.
I would prefer to try and go deal with that.
What the mountain or whole?
The hag
That'd be the
and my
the
brother.
hag in the forest. That would be with the elves and all that shit. But
Okay.
you know, I'll give you a week to think about where you want to go next.